Chapter 1231. No, I just sent it to you, Xianxia replied within seconds. But do we have a grudge against each other? Wang Lin felt like he had never spoken to Xianxia before. The last time they met was in the hallway of Seductive Fox. She came out to look for Su Yu, and they had a brief encounter. Xianxia was a superstar with tens of millions of fans, so she wouldn't suddenly come to Wang Lin and say something like this, right? She was different from bitches like Jiang Linyue and Song Yisher. Those women's target was Qin Chu, so they were jealous of him, but Xianxia had nothing to do with Qin Chu. Could it be because of Su Yu? Wang Lin quickly analyzed the situation in his mind. Then he saw Xianxia reply, President Su is so pitiful. Ever since he founded Imperial Star, he's never been away for so long. But this time he's been away for so many days. But what does that have to do with me? I didn't ask him to go. Wang Lin truly felt wronged, okay? Isn't it because of you? If you didn't force him, he wouldn't be so sad. Wang Lin, I beg you, if you don't like President Su, don't give him a chance. Don't torture him. The truth is, I never gave him a chance. Wang Lin answered without hesitation. She felt like she was being very clear, and more than once, she expressed her feelings for Qin Chu to Su Yu. This time, when Su Yu left, she didn't send him off no matter how much Tang Chuan begged her. Later, Tang Chuan was so angry that he went to Wei Liao's house and scolded Wang Lin in front of Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao. Jiang Xiaowei was on Wang Lin's side, so she argued with him for a long time. In the end, the two of them were quite unhappy. This was all because of the matter between her and Su Yu. But in fact, Wang Lin felt that there was nothing between him and Su Yu, not even a little ambiguous. Therefore, Xianxia's accusation made her feel even more wronged than Dou. President Su, that guy looks like a playboy, but he's actually very loyal. Once he sets his mind on something, he'll do anything to chase after it, even if it's wrong. I feel bad for him, but there's nothing I can do to help him. I've been at Imperial Star for almost 5 years, but I can't compare to the 5 minutes you spent with him. I'm really jealous of you, but at the same time, I'm also envious of you. You have so many excellent men who like you. I have to admit that you're very capable and resourceful. Miss Xianxia, are you praising me? Are you praising me or are you praising me? Wang Lin was a little tired and didn't want to argue with another woman. She was too tired. If she had the time, she would rather soak in the hot springs with Mr. Qin and enjoy the snowy scenery. Xianxia didn't reply, but 3 minutes later, she sent Wang Lin a screenshot of her Weibo post. It was a post that Su Yu had just posted. Wang Lin didn't follow Su Yu on Weibo, so she didn't know what Su Yu was up to. She only saw it after Xianxia posted it. Su Yu posted this. I really like spending time with you. Sometimes, even though I feel very tired and infatuated like a fool, your occasional gentleness always gives me the illusion that you may have liked me a little bit at some point in time. So for this little bit, for the love that I don't know if it exists, I am willing to wait for you for a very long time, so long that the world will grow old, because I realize that other than waiting for you, I have no other choice. Chapter 1232. These words really made one's heart ache, and it was very sad. Although Su Yu had a bad temper, he was a top student in the military academy and was cultured. Therefore, when he occasionally spoke in a scholarly manner, he really was an artistic youth. Wang Lin remained silent after reading the message. Xianxia then sent a photo of Su Yu. It seemed like someone had unintentionally taken it for him. He was wearing a military uniform and standing next to Lord Su. His skin was a little tanned, but his eyes were still firm. Wang Lin remained silent again. Xianxia then sent another message. Maybe you think that Qin Chu is the only one in the world, but I want to tell you that President Qin Chu is also the only one in the world that can't be replicated. Wang Lin remained silent for a few seconds before he typed, but I already have Qin Chu, so no matter how good other people are, they have nothing to do with me. So, you're really not going to give President Su any more chances? Wang Lin didn't reply to Xianxia because the answer to her question was obvious. Xianxia's question was meaningless. After a minute of silence, Wang Lin also posted something on Weibo. She said, if it's just friendship, then be good friends if you can. Don't be so greedy. Love is too extreme, it's either forever or forever. Huamin's words were obviously meant for Su Yu. She hoped that he would understand her feelings and let go. Su Yu did see it, and he felt very conflicted after reading it. He was greedy, he wanted Huamin's life, but this was such an extravagant thing to do. Young master, the chief wants to see you for dinner. His adjutant came over to remind him. Su Yu nodded, put away his phone, and quickly walked towards the military base. He thought that when he was away from home, he would be thousands of miles away from home. Would he feel better? Would he miss that girl? Su Yu felt worse. Huamin's image kept appearing in his mind. Her angry face, her smiling face, even when she was working seriously, she looked so cute. Every time he talked to Wei Liao, he would pretend to casually ask about Huamin. Wei Liao didn't seem to want to say too much, so he answered vaguely. This made Su Yu's heart itch. He wanted to go back as soon as possible, but this trip would take at least 20 days. And his grandfather wouldn't let him go back either. In the evening, when Huamin finished work, Qin Chu came on time. Ever since her car was repaired, Qin Chu became her full-time chauffeur. Hardworking Chu Huaxi also received compensation paid Huamian girl, and Huamian bought her with the amount of money in her bank account, she could buy a better and more high-end sports car. But she didn't. First of all, Huamin wasn't a high-profile person. She wouldn't drive a flashy sports car. Pink limited edition Lamborghini and Bugatti Veyron were not her cup of tea. She was only an Audi fan. Second of all, Huamin was too sentimental. This R8 was a gift from Qin Chu, and she always drove it. They were very close. She treated the car like a friend, so she didn't want to let it go. She would rather spend more money on repairs than get a new one. Huamin got into the car and took off her down jacket. Honey, do you want to eat at home or outside? I'm fine with anything, I'll do whatever you want. Qin Chu smiled. Let me think, how about Ixian's ramen? Huamin rubbed her chin with her index finger and thought hard. Qin Chu nodded gently. Just then, a piece of news came out from the small TV in the car. The female news anchor spoke very quickly. The latest news is about the hottest topic these days, President Huaxiqian and Mayor Song's daughter, Song Yisher. After Mr. Huaxiqian's interview, Song Yisher just held a press conference. This is her first response to this matter. Let's go to the press conference and see what Miss Song Yisher has to say about this. Chapter 12:33. Huamin stared intently at the TV screen. Qin Chu, on the other hand, wasn't interested in this. He focused on driving and looked straight ahead. On the TV, Song Yisher was holding a press conference in a white mink coat, a black miniskirt, and tall boots. Huamin saw a lot of reporters taking pictures. It was a huge scene. Song Yisher maintained her usual fake smile as she faced the media. Okay, you can ask questions now. Come one by one, it's orderly, Song Yisher's assistant said to the reporters. Then the reporters immediately surrounded her. Miss Song Yisher, is the rumored photo real? Yes. Song Yisher nodded. Then what's your relationship with the president of the Hua Corporation, Huaxiqian? Song Yisher moved her lips and continued to smile. We used to be friends. Then, President Hua expressed interest in me and pursued me for a while. That's when we started dating. After she said this, the crowd went into an uproar. No one expected her to admit it so quickly. So, you and President Hua are lovers? Yes. Then what do you think of the rumors that you and President Qin of GK have an ambiguous relationship? Hearing a reporter mention Qin Chu, Huamin was very displeased. Damn, my husband is being dragged into this. Qin Chu smiled, raised his right hand, and lovingly pinched Huamin's cheek. President Qin and I have always been friends, just normal friends. Don't misunderstand, there's no ambiguous relationship between us. Plus, Lady Qin and I are friends. Those rumors are all false. Huamin sneered. This woman's face doesn't even blush when she lies. She's been through a lot. Miss Song, there's a video of you, Miss Song Yishuan, and Lady Qin on the internet. Did some netizens say that your cars look like yours? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. What racing? What Xianxian? Song Yisher continued to play dumb. But in the video. Before the reporter could finish his question, he was interrupted by the staff. I'm sorry, friends from the media. Today, Miss Song's press conference is a response to her relationship with Mr. Hua. Please don't ask other irrelevant questions. Thank you. Miss Song, what is the mayor's opinion on your choice of President Hua? My family is more democratic. My parents respect my opinion. What I choose is what they like. After Song Yisha finished speaking, the audience began to applaud. She's so good at acting. It's such a pity that Song Yisha didn't enter the entertainment industry. She's definitely an award-winning actress. She's so good at acting. Hua Min sighed. Award-winning actresses also have to be virtuous and talented. Not just anyone can take that title. Don't tarnish the title of award-winning actress, Qin Chu interrupted. Hua Min put his arm around Qin Chu's shoulder and asked intimately, Honey, Song Yisha was screaming about this morning. At the time, I felt like she really hated Hua Xiqian. Why did she suddenly hold a press conference and admit it? That's weird. I don't think she can clean up the mess. Hua Xiqian probably has more information on her, so she's afraid of exposing it. Qin Chu was smart and hit the nail on the head. You're right, honey. Your analysis makes sense. You're so smart. Hua Min looked at Qin Chu with admiration. If I wasn't smart, how could I trick you into marrying me? Qin Chu laughed. Ah, great. So you admit that you tricked me into marrying you? Hurry up and give me a wedding gift. You married me and I haven't officially given you a betrothal gift. I don't have a problem with the wedding gift, but can I criticize you a little? Qin Chu tilted his head and looked at Hua Min with a serious expression. What? She looked at Qin Chu in confusion. She didn't know what she had done to deserve his criticism. Chapter 12:34. Next time when we're in bed, can you improve your service? Qin Chu asked in all seriousness. Hua Min, every time, I'm the one who works the hardest, and you're the one who's the hardest at the bottom, Qin Chu continued to complain. Hua Min, every time we're having a little more fun, you'll beg for mercy and throw in the towel? Can you last a little longer next time? Cooperate with your husband, Qin Chu added. Hua Min, oh right, I really like the bunny girl look you wore last time. Can you wear it for me next time? I think it'll make things more interesting between us. Qin Chu thought of this again. Hua Min, also, you can moan louder. Our room is big and soundproof, no one can hear you. I really like hearing your voice, it's exciting. Hua Min, Mr. Qin, you've said so much, but I just want to ask you one question. Go ahead. Do you want to fly into the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun? Hua Min stared at him. Qin Chu. Hua Min thought that Mr. Qin was going to fly into the sky. He complained so much at once. Just how dissatisfied was he with her? Although she was the one who begged for mercy first every time, that was because Mr. Qin had insane stamina, okay? Who could do it for an hour and still not be done? There was no end to it. How could those men who finished in 10 minutes live? Most importantly, every time, her back would hurt and her legs would cramp. She would be listless at work the next day, okay? I'm just giving you a suggestion, Mr. Qin replied proudly. This suggestion is a bit useless. It's the same whether you say it or not. I think you're just trying to be nice. Not only did you take advantage of me, but you're also picking on me. I haven't picked on you yet. If you're dissatisfied with me, you can tell me, and we can talk about it, Qin Chu suggested. All right. First, can you not take so long? Your battle prowess is too long. I can't handle it. Qin Chu was speechless. Also, you like to hear me moan in bed and I like to hear you moan too. So next time when I'm a little louder, can you be a little louder too? After all, men and women are equal. You can't demand that of me alone. Qin Chu was speechless. You like me as a bunny girl? Okay, no problem. But can you make me Ultraman? Which style do I like more? It can also increase my interest. Qin Chu was speechless. Next time, just once is enough. Can you not do it 3 or 4 times a night? Although we are still young, the Yellow Emperor's canon of internal medicine says that excessive indulgence is not good. Medically speaking, it is also very easy to become impotent. You should take it easy, okay? Qin Chu was speechless. Lastly, if you dare to tie me up again, I'll immediately separate from you. You can deal with it yourself, I'm not going to serve you anymore. Huamin was still angry when she thought about how Mr. Qin punished her last time. That was the highest level of physical and mental torture. Huamin was a strong-willed person, but Mr. Qin almost tortured her to the point of insanity. So, she really didn't want there to be a next time. After Qin Chu silently listened to her words, he helplessly looked at Huamin. Honey, can I take back what I just said? Just pretend I didn't say anything, okay? Ha. Huamin immediately laughed. Mr. Qin was too cute. Sometimes, he was as willful as a child. As they chatted and laughed, they arrived at Ixian's ramen. When the owner saw the two of them, he immediately prepared 2 bowls of ramen. Just then, Huamin, who was sitting at the door, inadvertently looked up. Just then, she saw Huasiqian walking over. He was wearing a casual navy blue cotton jacket. He walked in and sat down at Huamin and Qin Chu's table. Excuse me, can I have a moment of your time? Huasiqian asked with a smile. Qin Chu and Huamin looked up and looked at Huasiqian in surprise. They didn't know why he suddenly came. Chapter 12:35. Go ahead. Huamin nodded and looked at Huasiqian. He took out a red invitation from his bag and casually threw it on the table. In 7 days, Song Yisher and I will be getting married. You guys are welcome to the wedding. Huamin was speechless, Qin Chu was speechless. Why are you guys so surprised? Didn't you guys see her press conference? Huasiqian continued to smile. I saw her admit your relationship, but isn't it a little too rushed to have a wedding in 7 days? Huamin was a little surprised. What's so rushed about it? Money is the only thing in this world, everything can be done in minutes. The wedding is a one-stop package. The wedding banquet is also a set meal, you just have to pay for it. It's going to be held at Shangri-La. Little sister Mian, don't come empty-handed. Huasiqian looked at Huamin and smiled meaningfully. Am I such a disloyal person? Huamin was a little speechless. It wasn't her style to go to a wedding empty-handed. Back when Ning Ziyuan and Wu Xiaoxue got married, she spent 200 yuan on it. I'll be there on time, Qin Chu said faintly as he held onto the invitation. That's good, then I won't delay your meal. See you later. After speaking, Huasiqian didn't stay any longer. He got up and walked out. That's so sudden. Huasiqian must be planning something, I have a feeling. After Huasiqian left, Qin Chu wasn't in the mood to eat. The faint feeling of uneasiness in his heart began to stir. It wasn't that he was overthinking, but Huasiqian's way of doing things was too strange. He didn't play by the rules at all. The more unpredictable he was, the more worried he was. What's wrong, honey? Huamin asked when he saw Qin Chu's worry. Anyway, we can't let our guard down for the time being. I have a feeling that something is going to happen. It can't be. Isn't it great that they're getting married? It just so happens that they're the same kind. Huasiqian likes to wear masks, and so does Song Yisher. It's best that they get married so that they won't harm others. I'm afraid the marriage is a conspiracy, Qin Chu said quietly. Whether it's a scheme or not, that's their business. It has nothing to do with us. Don't worry, hubby. Huamin gently placed his hand on Qin Chu's palm. Trying to pacify him, however, Qin Chu's expression still looked very serious. Seeing that neither Qin Chu nor Huamin had eaten much, the two of them came out. It was the end of the school day for second high. A boy and a girl in school uniforms passed by. Mimi, which university do you plan to go to? I haven't thought about it yet. There's still more than 6 months until the college entrance exam. What's the rush? Come to Jing City with me. My parents want me to go to Jing City so that we can study abroad together. Your family is rich. You can go to any country, but I can't, the girl said with a sense of inferiority. I'll ask my parents to arrange it for you. Let's go together. I don't want your mom to look down on me. The girl's eyes were sad as she pulled her hand back. The boy looked at the girl in a daze. His eyes were clear and filled with deep love. Love in high school was always the best. It wasn't as ignorant as it was in middle school, and it wasn't as greedy as it was in college. Therefore, Huamin was very grateful that he was able to meet Qin Chu in high school. The conversation between the boy and girl was very similar to when they were young. At that time, Huamin was also persuaded by Qin Chu to go to the United States after they graduated from high school. Later, that incident happened and the two of them broke up. Qin Chu went abroad, and Huamin studied high school nursing. In the blink of an eye, 7 years had passed. Luckily, they could still find each other and the feelings they had in the past. Qin Chu put his arm around Huamin's shoulder and seemed to be touched as well. If I could go back in time, I would kidnap you and bring you to the United States with me. Maybe if we went abroad back then, our kids would have grown up by now. After Qin Chu said this, the corners of his mouth unconsciously curled up. Whenever he thought about the beautiful life he had with Huamin, he felt very happy. If I could go back in time, maybe I would have fallen in love with another boy in middle school. You wouldn't even have a chance, Huamin said deliberately. Mr. Qin's face darkened when he heard this. Chapter 12:36. Mrs. Qin, other than me, who else would dare to want you? You're so fierce. You have such a high IQ. You're so arrogant. Qin Chu still remembered the first time he saw a reporter interview Huamin on TV. At that time, she had just finished her middle school exams. Because she was the top scorer, she received a lot of attention. At that time, Qin Chu still remembered her ridiculously arrogant words and tissue. He especially liked to see Huamin's arrogant look. To put it bluntly, it was all kinds of pretentious looks. For the 3 years of high school, Huamin was always tearing people apart. She teared up with girls who were jealous of her studies, girls who liked Qin Chu, and girls who slandered her behind her back. At that time, Huamin was the outgoing type. She was flamboyant and high-profile. She and Zhu Lingling would be invincible if they worked together. He remembered that there was once a senior who brought 5 or 6 girls with her and they were all holding wooden clubs. They surrounded Huamin and Zhu Lingling in a narrow alley near the school. At that time, there were only 2 Huamin and 6 or 7 of the other party. And with weapons, everyone thought that they would lose miserably in the end. Although Huamin and Zhu Lingling were injured and beaten up badly, Zhu Lingling's arm was even dislocated. However, the senior who led the other party was basically beaten up by Huamin. Because there were so many people and it was difficult to deal with, Huamin simply grabbed the leader of the woman and beat her to death. No matter how many clubs fell on her body, she endured the pain and rode on the leader of the woman to beat her up. Later, Huamin and Zhu Lingling were injured. The leader of the woman was almost disfigured by Huamin. Her face was swollen like a steamed bun. From then on, that group of people never looked for trouble with Huamin again. Because she was ruthless, the kind that didn't care about her life. Huamin became famous in her first year of high school, and many boys came to see her. There were love letters, chocolates, flowers. There were even some boys who would put small gifts in her desk every day. But she had never accepted anyone. Until one day, Qin Chu, who had been an iceberg for thousands of years, was carrying a backpack on one shoulder. He bumped into Huamin at Ixian's ramen. He said, "Hey, I'll treat you to some noodles." Before Huamin could say anything, then she heard Qin Chu say again, "You have to date me." "Heh, I sold myself for a bowl of noodles. Am I worthless?" Huamin sneered. Unexpectedly, Qin Chu's next sentence was, "How about eating noodles for a lifetime?" A lifetime? Huamin was a little surprised. In an era like high school, everyone's love was beautiful and ignorant. Very few people would think of a lifetime. "I dare. Do you dare to eat it?" Qin Chu asked provocatively. At the time, they were young. Huamin was also agitated, so she said directly, "Then save up. Noodles for a lifetime cost a lot." Just like that, their relationship began in a fit of pique. At the time, Huamin didn't know that Qin Chu's family was so prominent. She had never been interested in her classmates' backgrounds. "What are you thinking about? You look so lost in thought." Qin Chu smiled and asked. Only then did Huamin come back to her senses. She smiled and said, "I was thinking about some things when we were in school. It's a little cold, let's go home." Qin Chu tightly hugged Huamin's shoulder. He protected her in his arms. He shielded her from the bone-chilling wind. Just then, Huamin's phone rang. "Mom?" Okay, I got it, I'll be right back. What's wrong? Qin asked. My mom said something went missing at home, so she wants me to go back and take a look. Let's go. Then, Qin drove Huamin directly to Sky Blessing Court. As soon as they entered, they saw Yang Mirong sitting in the living room dejectedly. She didn't look good. What went missing at home? Huamin asked curiously. Chapter 1237. My jewelry is gone. Yang Mirong looked like she was about to cry. Jewelry? Huamin froze. From what he remembered, his mother did have a jewelry box. She had saved some gold jewelry a few years ago. Later on, she also bought some new rings and necklaces, but they didn't add up to a lot of money. His mother didn't have any big gold jewelry, only small jewelry. She liked to wear them when she went out. She usually put them in the drawer. Isn't it always in the drawer? Huamin asked. Yeah, but when your Auntie Wu called me this morning and asked me to go for a walk in the park, I found that it was gone. But the jewelry box was still there, and everything inside was gone. Mom, how many things were in there? Qin asked. Yang Mirong thought for a moment and said slowly, actually, not a lot. Including what Mian bought for me, there are 2 necklaces, 3 rings, 2 pairs of earrings, and a bracelet. That's all. Altogether, it should be around 20 to 30,000 yuan. It's not a lot, but it's all gone so suddenly. You don't feel good about it. Yang Mirong was in a bad mood. She sat there listlessly. Huamin walked over and sat down beside her. Mom, are you sure you just lost it today? Did you see it yesterday? I'm not sure, because I haven't worn it in a long time. I don't usually open the box to look. The last time I wore it was half a month ago when I went shopping with a few new friends in the neighborhood. It's been a long time. I just remembered it when I was about to wear it again today. This guy's good, it's all gone. Mom, don't worry. Mian and I will buy you another set. Qin comforted his mother-in-law. Hey, you kids, I know you have good intentions, but it's not about the money right now. It's not about the money, nor is it about the money. It's about how everything disappeared out of nowhere. Did a thief come in? But it shouldn't be. I've moved here for a while and the security here is pretty good. Jixin said that there are surveillance cameras at the door and outside every house. Plus, security guards are always on patrol 24 hours a day. It shouldn't be. Yang Mirong muttered to herself. Huamin thought for a moment. I don't think it's possible for a thief to sneak in, because a thief wouldn't just steal these things. Mom, you didn't lose your money, right? Yeah, it's really strange. I didn't lose the 20,000 yuan in my bag, only the jewelry is missing. It's really strange. Could it be that you put it somewhere else and forgot about it? Our house is so big, we might be able to find it if we look around, Huamin added. Yang Mirong shook her head. That's impossible. I wouldn't put those things anywhere. I was afraid that I would forget them, so I put them in the jewelry box in the drawer. Seeing how certain his mother was, Huamin didn't say anything else. Then she looked around. Mom, where's Xiaoping? She's taking a shower upstairs. Just now, she said that her clothes were dirty and wanted to change. As soon as Yang Mirong finished speaking, Yang Xiaoping came downstairs. There were 2 rooms upstairs, the master bedroom and the guest bedroom. Yang Xiaoping had been living in the guest bedroom ever since she arrived, and the master bedroom was Jixin's room. Downstairs were also the master bedroom and the guest bedroom. Yang Mirong lived in the master bedroom, and Huamin slept in the guest bedroom downstairs sometimes. Yang Xiaoping had already changed her clothes. Huamin looked at her in surprise. He realized that although she hadn't been here for long, her taste in clothes had changed a lot. She was no longer wearing an old-fashioned shirt, long pants, and floral skirt. Now, she was wearing a lotus-leaf sleeve dress. The dress wasn't very long, and most of her thighs were exposed. Her hair was no longer in 2 braids. Instead, her hair was loose, and it was very black and straight. She even put on makeup and looked very formal. Cousin, brother-in-law, you guys are here. Yang Xiaoping smiled. Huamin nodded with a smile. Yeah, your auntie lost her jewelry and is in a bad mood. She asked us to come back and see what we can do. After speaking, Huamin carefully looked at Yang Xiaoping's face. Chapter 12:38. Yang Merong noticed Huamian's unnatural expression and said, "Yeah, I was worried too. I even helped Auntie search the entire house, but I couldn't find anything. It's weird." Before Huamin could say anything, Yang Merong said, "Xiuping is such an honest child. She saw that I lost something, so she took me to her bedroom to avoid suspicion. Not only did she search through everything, but she also opened her bag and showed me her passbook and wallet. She was afraid that I would suspect her. Why would I suspect her? We're family, who would do something like that?" Obviously, Yang Merong trusted her niece. After all, Huamian had already proven her innocence by showing her her belongings. Yang Xiuping walked downstairs and sat down on the couch. Then, she handed an apple to Qin Chu. "Brother-in-law, have an apple." "No thanks." Qin Chu's attitude was indifferent. Then, she took out an orange and handed it to Huamin. "Cousin, I bought this for Auntie. It's really sweet." "Okay, thank you." Huamin didn't reject the orange. Instead, she picked it up and ate a piece. Then, Yang Xiuping continued, "Auntie lost something, and it's quite awkward. I'm the only guest in the house and no one usually comes here, so I'm definitely the prime suspect. In order to clear my name, I had no choice but to prove myself. Since the item wasn't with me, and I didn't have any more money in my bag or card, I didn't sell it for money. Oh right, I still have a bank card that's connected to my phone. I even showed Auntie the bank balance on my phone. It's a little embarrassing, but the balance on that card is only 128 yuan. I've been here for so long, but I haven't looked for a job. I'm so embarrassed." Huamin looked at Yang Xiuping in surprise. "Xiuping, you've changed a lot since you came." "Really?" Yang Xiuping didn't know what Huamin meant, so she looked a little uncomfortable. "Yeah, not only did you change your taste in clothes, but you also changed the way you talk. Also, you're a fast learner. You even have an advanced mobile banking app. You're pretty smart." And that's nothing. I'm young and eager to learn, so I bought a lot of books to read. People say that people in the city are more cultured, so I just want to be a cultured person." Huamin was truly surprised by Yang Xiuping's recent change. She looked at Yang Xiuping's clothes. They weren't expensive, just the kind that could be bought online for a few hundred yuan. She didn't even know the brand of shoes she wore. Yang Xiuping herself, indeed, she's dispel everyone's suspicions, but she couldn't have lost by herself. If a thief didn't come, someone would have taken her something. She knew where she left her stuff was, so No wonder his mother couldn't figure it out and came to Huamian. Huamin smiled as he looked at Yang Xiuping. "You're right, it's a good thing that you've become more cultured. Okay, let's not talk about the lost stuff. It doesn't cost much anyway, I'll buy it for you later. Mom, Qin Chu and I both want to eat your beef patties. Do you have any beef at home?" "Oh yes, there's more in the fridge. I'll go make it now." Then, Yang Merong got up and went to make the patties. Life was relatively peaceful now. Other than Jixin, Yang Merong only cared about Huamin and Qin Chu. Therefore, no matter what they wanted to eat, Yang Merong would immediately make it for them. She didn't think it was troublesome at all. After Yang Merong left, Huamin deliberately said to Qin Chu, "Honey, you bought this house. Did you install surveillance cameras in the hallway? Can you check the surveillance cameras and see who else went into my mom's room besides her?" Before Qin Chu could say anything, Yang Xiuping immediately interrupted. Didn't Auntie say that there are only surveillance cameras outside the house, but not inside? After all, it's not convenient for private matters to be exposed." Chapter 12:39. "Oh, look at my brain, I forgot about it. Indeed, I wanted to pretend, but then I thought that there were no outsiders in the house, so there was no point in pretending." "You have a good memory, Xiuping. You even remember this," Huamin said to Yang Xiuping meaningfully. Yang Xiuping realized that she had said something wrong, so she said awkwardly, "I only heard Auntie mention it once. After all, I don't wear much when I'm indoors, so I don't really mind. Cousin Qin, why don't you sit down with my brother-in-law? I'll go help Auntie in the kitchen." Then, Yang Xiuping got up and walked into the kitchen. The truth was, she didn't dare to face Huamin. Huamin was too smart and meticulous. What if she said too much and exposed herself? So, she made up an excuse and left. Only Qin Chu and Huamian were left in the living room. Honey, what do you think? Huamin looked at Qin Chu with a smile on his face. Do you really need to ask me? Didn't a detective like you already know what happened? You even asked me about the surveillance cameras just now, so that the culprit would give herself away. Qin Chu crossed his arms. He already knew what was going on. He also knew that his wife had purposely baited the culprit. It wasn't that they were narrow-minded and suspicious of Yang Xiuping. However, logically speaking, the culprit had lost something in their house. Other than their mother and Yang Xiuping, there was no one else. The last time they saw the jewelry was half a month ago. In that half a month, other than Huamin, no other guests came to their house. Huamin couldn't have stolen it, and neither could Yang Mei. Therefore, Yang Xiuping was the prime suspect. Yang Xiuping wasn't stupid. She knew to immediately clear her name and take her auntie to her room to search for the jewelry. This was also the most brilliant part of her plan. Huamin used to think that Yang Xiuping was just a village girl with bad intentions, but now he realized that she was actually quite smart. Hubby, didn't that person say that he showed you his wallet and bank cards? There's no dirt and there's no dirt. The money from selling it is all on me. That's simple. Who would be stupid enough to steal it and keep it on themselves? Even if they sold it, it's not easy to get the money back. Either she has already spent the stolen money, or she used the stolen money to buy something valuable, but it hasn't been discovered. Qin Chu analyzed with certainty. He then asked, if you look at the surveillance camera outside the door, you should find that she has been going out more than usual recently. Huamin nodded in agreement with Qin Chu. Not long after, the two of them were finally done with their work in the kitchen. Yang Meirong walked in with a steaming hot beef patty. Yang Xiuping was holding a bowl of tomato egg soup. It would take too long to cook. I was afraid you guys would be hungry, so I made some soup. Eat it while it's hot, Yang Meirong said lovingly. Thank you, Mom. Qin Chu was touched by his mother-in-law's concern for him and Huamian. Don't mention it. You're my kids. I can't do anything else other than make you some food. Just then, Yang Xiuping filled a bowl with soup and handed it to Qin Chu. Brother-in-law, have some soup. Qin Chu didn't take it, but Huamin took the bowl from Yang Xiuping and placed it in front of Qin Chu. Yang Xiuping then filled a bowl with soup and handed it to Huamin. She was quite enthusiastic about it. Xiuping, this ring looks nice. Did you buy it recently? When Huamin lowered his head to take the bowl of soup, he suddenly saw a diamond ring on Yang Xiuping's finger. It wasn't very big and wasn't very obvious. Yang Xiuping's expression immediately changed. Then she smiled awkwardly and said, It's not real. I bought it from a street vendor. It cost 5 yuan. Oh, it's really nice. The craftsmanship, it looks so real. Yang Xiuping felt even more uncomfortable upon hearing this. Before she could say anything, Huamin continued to ask, Xiuping, have you been going out a lot lately? Do you have any friends here? Chapter 1240. No, I don't go out that often. Yang Xiuping was a little flustered, as if she wanted to hide something. Huamin raised an eyebrow. Really? I accidentally watched the surveillance footage on my phone and saw that you've been going out early and coming home late. I thought you had a boyfriend. No, that's just... I sometimes go out to buy groceries in the morning, and then I go shopping during the day, Yang Xiuping denied vehemently. She didn't want to admit that she went out early and came home late. Huamin didn't actually watch the surveillance footage. He just casually mentioned it to see her reaction. However, she really couldn't sit still. Yang Xiuping wasn't mature enough, so she panicked at the slightest provocation. Oh, it's okay, don't be nervous, I was just asking. Huamin smiled. The truth was she and Qin Chu both ate at Xian's ramen, so they weren't that hungry. She asked her mother to make beef patties so she could talk to Yang Xiuping alone. After a quick bite, Huamin and Qin Chu got up to leave. Don't worry about the food, we'll buy more if it's gone. Don't get mad over something so trivial, it's not worth it. Huamin held onto his mother's hand and comforted her. Yeah, it's okay if it's gone. It doesn't matter if I bring it or not. Don't spend money on it for me, I don't really like these things. I know. Huamin smiled. As she walked out, she turned her head and glanced at Yang Xiaoping. Xiaoping, come with me for a second. Oh, okay. Yang Xiaoping froze for a second, then followed Huamin out with a confused look on her face. I just remembered that Jixin wants me to mail something to him. Go to his room with Mom and pack it up. I'll mail it to him tomorrow, okay? Qin Chu understood what Huamin was thinking. Without saying anything, he turned around and followed his mother-in-law into Jixin's room. After Huamin walked out with Yang Xiaoping, he opened the door to his Maybach with the remote. Huamin sat in the back seat and patted the seat next to him. It's cold outside, let's talk in the car. Yang Xiaoping nodded and followed Huamin into the back seat of his Maybach. Xiaoping, what do you think of my mom? Huamian asked gently. Auntie, what about me? How do I treat you? My cousin treats me very well too. We're like family. Yang Xiaoping was scared of Huamian, so she was a little reserved and didn't look very natural. Since she was so nice to you, why did you have the heart to steal my mother's jewelry? What ti Yang's? Is Xiao. When she saw Huamin's expression, she thought that he wouldn't pursue the matter. His family was so rich that he wouldn't be surprised if a piece of jewelry worth 20 or 30,000 yuan was stolen. That was why Yang Xiaoping chose to steal the jewelry instead of the money. Yang Xiaoping thought that since Yang Meirong didn't look at the jewelry often, she wouldn't find out that it was stolen until a long time later. How could there still be money? Without evidence, no one would dare to accuse her of stealing the jewelry. Yang Xiaoping didn't expect Huamin to be so sure that she stole the jewelry. Previously, she thought that at most, they would be suspicious. She reckoned that no one would dare to ask her directly. Cousin? Sis, are you kidding me? Yang Xiaoping smiled awkwardly. No, I'm serious. Huamin looked into her eyes quietly. Cousin, I really don't know what you're talking about. Yang Xiaoping pretended to be calm and played dumb. Chapter 1241. The jewelry has always been at home. Mom and you are the only other family member at home. Who else could it be? Cousin, you can't accuse me like that. I even showed Auntie my room to prove my innocence, Yang Xiaoping argued. What's the point of seeing it now? My mom hasn't opened the jewelry box in half a month. She doesn't even know when it went missing. You took care of it a long time ago, so of course you can prove your innocence. Cousin, you people in the city don't have any evidence, so you just casually accuse people? I may be poor, but I can't let you accuse me like that. Stealing is not a small crime. Exactly, you knew it was a big crime, yet you didn't steal it. That shows how brave you are. Cousin, I told you that you can't accuse me of stealing if you don't have evidence. You're framing me. Yang Xiaoping was adamant that Huamin didn't have evidence. Huamin smiled helplessly, and he lifted Yang Xiaoping's hand and looked at the diamond ring. This ring, how much did you say it cost? 5 yuan. Yang Xiaoping felt a little guilty, so her voice became quieter. 5 yuan. It's beautiful. Give it to me. After speaking, Huamin took the ring off Yang Xiaoping's finger. Seeing Huamin take off her ring, Yang Xiaoping became anxious and violently snatched it back. Then, she tightly gripped it in her hand. Why are you so nervous? It's just a 5 yuan ring. Do you really have to be so nervous? Huamin sneered. Cousin, you're so rich, I'm sure you don't care about such a small thing. Plus, this ring is fake, it's beneath your dignity to wear it. Give it to me. Yang Xiaoping didn't dare to look Huamin in the eye. However, it was obvious that her lie was about to be exposed. Xiaoping, you know that my husband's company is very powerful, right? You've heard of GK, right? Yes. Yang Xiaoping didn't understand why Huamin would ask her such a question that had nothing to do with this matter. GK has an important department that deals with jewelry. Right now, GK has acquired 90% of the jewelry stores in the city. You probably bought this ring from one of their stores. Judging by the size of the diamond, it's probably worth around 20,000 yuan. If you used the rings that my mom lost, you wouldn't have to pay a single cent. Cousin, I don't understand what you mean. What exchange? I don't understand. Yang Xiaoping continued to be stubborn. Don't worry about it. I remember my mom's stuff. When you went shopping, you took so many things with you. I'm sure every store would remember it. We don't have surveillance cameras at home, but every jewelry store has them. That's not a big problem. I'll ask my husband to make some arrangements, and we'll find out which store it is immediately. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Yang Xiaoping was dumbfounded. She always thought that her plan was foolproof, but she didn't expect that the jewelry stores she went to were all owned by GK. If they checked the surveillance cameras, they would be able to find her immediately. She thought that she was well hidden, but it was so easy for Huamin to find out. Cousin? Yang Xiaoping didn't know what to say. Her mind was in a mess. If you stole something, it's a lot of money. If you're sentenced, you'll be sentenced to 5 to 10 years in prison. Huamin played with his fingers as he talked to himself. He sounded very relaxed. However, Yang Xiaoping's face gradually turned pale. Finally, after hearing Huamin's words, Yang Xiaoping knelt down in the car. Chapter 1242. Luckily, the Maybach was big enough. She knelt down in front of Huamin. Cousin, I was wrong. I did steal it. Why did you do that? Huamin looked at her coldly. I was just confused. Auntie doesn't wear a lot of jewelry, so I thought it would be better if she gave me a ring instead. Huh, so you're saying that you can take anything you want as long as it's not being used. It was the first time Huamian saw herself being able to find an excuse for herself when she was stealing. No, I was confused. Cousin, I'm sorry, I know I was wrong. Please don't call the police, okay? I don't want to go to jail. I'm still young, I can't ruin my future like this. My mom would be so sad if she found out. She brought a wolf into her house. Huamin looked at Yang Xiaoping in disappointment. Yang Xiaoping was her mother's niece. How could she do something so outrageous? Huamin, please don't tell Auntie, she'll be sad. She's always been so nice to me, I don't want her to be disappointed. Then what were you thinking when you did all this? I was really obsessed. Maybe I was scared of being poor. I grew up in the mountains and never saw anything good. Ever since I came to the city, I've seen you guys live well, eat well, wear good clothes, and use good things. I'm so jealous. Cousin, your handbag costs hundreds of thousands of yuan. I can't earn that much in my lifetime. You can't take anything for granted. If you want something, you have to put in the same amount of effort. You can't just reap what you sow. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You see me living a luxurious life now, but do you know how many times I've been on the brink of death? Do you know what I've been through? Yang Xiaoping lowered her head and didn't say anything. Being poor isn't an excuse. Stealing is a matter of character. I know, cousin, I know I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please don't arrest me, okay? Yang Xiaoping grabbed Huamin's arm and begged for mercy. It was obvious that she was scared. If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? Huamian didn't feel sorry for Yang Xiaoping at all. If it weren't for the fact that he had the confidence to make her admit her mistake, she would still think that his methods were brilliant and stubborn. That little trick of hers was really full of loopholes. Huamin could solve the case at any time, but he didn't reveal it in front of his mother. It wasn't because he cared about Yang Xiaoping's reputation. However, her mother's blood pressure was high and her heart wasn't very good. If she knew that it was done by the niece she had always liked, she wouldn't have known. He definitely couldn't take it. Get up. I won't call the police. Really? Yang Xiaoping was overjoyed. Then, she immediately got up and subconsciously wiped the dust off her knees. It was as if he was already fine, but Huamin had something else to say. Her hand paused slightly. She raised her head to look at Huamin's face and continued to listen to her. But I have 2 requests that you must fulfill. Tell me, as long as you don't make me go to jail, I'll do it. Yang Xiaoping was scared out of her wits. Number 1. Take this ring back and return all the things that you stole from my mother. Put them back quietly. If she asks, just tell her where you found them. She'll believe you. Okay. Although Yang Xiaoping didn't like the diamond ring on her finger, she was more afraid that Huamin would call the police. So, she still agreed. Second, after you do this, you have to find an excuse to leave our house. I don't care if you go back to your hometown or somewhere else, but we won't let you stay here. You have to leave. Cousin, I know what I did was wrong. Can you give me a chance? It was obvious that Yang Xiaoping didn't want to leave. She had food and a place to live. She didn't have to do any work, and she was paid more than 3,000 yuan a month. How could Yang Xiaoping leave? Her life was almost as good as that of a rich heiress, and it suited her lazy personality perfectly. Chapter 1243. I did give you a chance. The truth is, Xiaoping, I, Huamin, am not someone who doesn't recognize her family. You might think that I've always been cold to you because I look down on you, because I'm rich and look down on the poor, but that's not the case. My attitude toward you is completely dependent on your attitude toward me and my family. While you've been at my house, I know what you've been thinking about Qin Chu, Sister Huamin. I didn't. You don't have to explain, I know what you're thinking. I just wanted to say that sometimes, people need to know their place. Don't think about things that don't belong to you. That way, you won't be tired of living. If you truly loved me, I wouldn't treat you like this. So, think about it. I'm only giving you 3 days. In 3 days, I want to see my mom's jewelry returned to its rightful owner. After 3 days, I don't want you to appear in my house again. Then, Huamin pressed the remote and opened the car door. Yang Xiaoping had no choice but to turn around and get out of the car. It seemed like no matter how much she said, Huamin's heart would soften and give her another chance. Yang Xiaoping gritted her teeth, unwilling to give up. Then she walked into the house. After she walked in, Qin Chu happened to walk out of Jixin's room and was about to leave. When they walked past each other, Yang Xiaoping stared at Qin Chu's flawless face with infatuation. Why couldn't such an outstanding man be hers? Qin Chu didn't even look at her the entire time. Instead, he ignored her and walked out. Inside the car, Qin Chu sat in the driver's seat, and Huamin moved from the back seat to the passenger seat. Did you get the stuff? Yeah, what about you? Did you tell her everything? Qin Chu tilted his head and looked at Huamin. Yeah, I did. She doesn't seem to want to leave my house. This kind of person can't be left alive. He'll be a disaster in the future, Qin Chu said. But even if she leaves, she might not be able to return home. I don't think she'll leave Sea City. She's gotten used to the luxurious lifestyle and can't go back to the countryside. Huamin guessed. That's not something we should be concerned about. She doesn't know how to be content with what she has. Instead, she steals things. That's a bad habit. Even if she says she'll change, she might not. Anyway, it's better for us to stay as far away from her as possible. Okay. Huamin nodded. The end of the year always passed quickly. A week passed in the blink of an eye. Hua Xiqian's wedding became the biggest news in the city on Sunday. Many media outlets were broadcasting live from all over the city. The scene was huge and there were many guests present. Inside the hotel, Huamin and Qin Chu, one in a black suit and the other in a black dress, were a perfect match. As soon as the two of them entered the venue, they were surrounded by the media and took photos of them for a long time. After entering, Huamin heard someone calling out to him. He turned around and saw Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao. Oh, our pregnant woman is here too. Huamin laughed. Her belly isn't that obvious, okay? Huamin and Jiang Shaowei chatted happily on the side. Qin Chu and Wei Liao also chatted casually. When the ceremony started, everyone sat down. How should he put it? Although the wedding was luxurious, it didn't feel new at all. Everything was done according to the routine. Although they spent a lot of money, it lacked sincerity. It was a far cry from Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao's wedding on January 1st. Song Yisher wore a white mermaid wedding dress. She had exquisite makeup on and an elegant smile on her face. She was such a person. Even if the man she married wasn't the one she liked, she would still put on an act. Mian, do you know what I admire the most about Bitch Song? Jiang Shaowei asked enthusiastically. Chapter 1244. What do you mean? Huamin looked at Shaowei, amused. Yeah, she knows how to put on an act no matter what the situation is. She's so good at this, none of yous can compare to her. Her acting skills. When she's supposed to cry, when she's supposed to cry, when she's supposed to smile, her face is glowing. I bet she thinks she's in the movie. Her acting is so good, I almost believed that she and Huasiqian really have feelings for each other. Ha! Jiang Xiaowei's insightful comment made not only Huamin, but also Wei Liao laugh. What are you laughing at? You guys? Am I wrong? Jiang Xiaowei was confused. Yes, you're absolutely right, Dr. Jiang. Can we stop commenting? Can't we just quietly watch the wedding? Wei Liao hugged his beloved wife helplessly. The priest on stage asked the vows very sincerely. Handsome groom, Mr. Huasiqian, do you take the beautiful and gentle Song Yisha as your wife, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to be by her side for the rest of your life? Huasiqian took a deep breath and looked at Song Yisha with a playful smile on his face. After a while, he said, I do. His expression was obviously disdainful. Beautiful and gentle bride, Miss Song Yisha, do you take the handsome Huasiqian as your wife, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to be by her side for the rest of your life? At this moment, Song Yisha actually turned her head and looked down the stage. Her gaze fell on Qin Chu. Huamin provocatively leaned his head on Song Yisha's shoulder and smiled sweetly at her. She immediately looked away and her face turned cold. Then she said perfunctorily, I do. Okay, then let's exchange rings. The rest of the ceremony was just a formality. It was obvious that they hadn't paid much attention to these two events. Huamin had seen many weddings, including Lu Xing's. There had never been a wedding that was so awkward. There was no sweetness or touching at all. During the banquet, the two newlyweds began toasting. When it came to Huamin's table, Song Yisha directly ignored Huamin. He held his wine glass and looked at Qin Chu. Qin Chu, I'm married. Are you happy for me? Her tone was full of resentment. Qin Chu picked up his wine glass, glanced at Huasiqian, and said in an extremely formal manner, Congratulations on your marriage. Thank you. Huasiqian smiled. Then he walked up to Huamin and teased, My little sister, Huamin, you're so beautiful today. Compared to your bride, I still pale in comparison. Huamin smiled. Girl, how much did you give me as a wedding gift? Huasiqian's straightforwardness almost made Huamin vomit blood. You're too direct, aren't you? You're a tycoon, why would you care about this little bit of money? Huamin felt awkward. You're my favorite little sister. How could I not give you a little more? Okay, don't worry, I won't skimp on you. Huamin was speechless. Huasiqian looked at Huamin with a gentle gaze. He looked at Huamin from head to toe. No matter what she wore, even if it was a naive school uniform, he would still think that it was perfect. Congratulations. Huamin raised his glass and looked at Huasiqian and Song Yisha. Song Yisha ignored him and turned around to leave. She went straight to the next table. It was obvious how much she hated Huamin. Your new wife is a bit hot-tempered. Huamin smiled helplessly. It's okay, no matter how hot-tempered she is, she'll be obedient in my hands. After Huasiqian said this, he left the table. These two look weird. Not only do they have no feelings for each other, but they also look at each other as if they're enemies. I'm worried that tonight's wedding night will be very tragic. Jiang Xiaowei analyzed. That's not something we should worry about. Huamin smiled. He thought it was a joke, but who would have thought evening inside Huasiqian's private mansion? As the wedding night, the decorations were quite luxurious. Song Yisha was sitting on the bed in a red cheongsam. She seemed to be in a bad mood. Huasiqian pushed open the door, took off his tie, and walked towards her. Song Yisha stood up vigilantly and looked at him coldly. What do you want? Chapter 1245. Don't you know what I'm trying to do? Huasiqian inched closer and closer to her. Song Yisha was so scared that she took a few steps back. In the end, her entire body leaned against the wall. Then, Huasiqian leaned his arm against the wall. He did a classic Cabotin. Song Yisha was so scared that her face turned pale. I'm telling you, don't do anything stupid. What a joke. We're married, we're husband and wife. What do you mean by, do something stupid? Huasiqian sneered. But we don't have feelings for each other. I was just set up by you. I'm telling you, after we get married, we'll go our separate ways. Otherwise, I'll tell my dad what you did. At this critical moment, Song Yisha brought up her dad. Huasiqian narrowed his eyes and smiled faintly. Your dad? You think I'm scared? Do you think your dad is Jesus, that the whole world respects him? You. Song Yishe was so angry that she didn't know what to say to Huasiqian's rude words. Huasiqian raised his finger and gently played with Song Yishe's red shoulder strap. TSKSK, your face is not bad and your body is sexy, but it's a pity. Huasiqian paused. What's a pity? Song Yishe was confused. It's a pity that a disgusting soul lives under this beautiful body. After hearing Huasiqian's comments, Song Yishe's expression turned ugly. He was the first man who dared to say such things to her. He made her sound like a useless person. If that's the case, why did you marry me? Song Yishe was furious. Do you think I wanted to? To tell you the truth, today was the worst day of my life. I've never been so depressed. Luckily, the day passed quickly. Do you think I'll touch you? In your dreams? I'm telling you, while we're still husband and wife, you better be prepared to live like a widow. Don't cause any trouble or else, not only will I ruin your reputation, your father will too. After saying that, Huasiqian retracted his hand and wiped it with a wet towel. It was as if touching her would make her dirty. Song Yishe couldn't take this kind of naked humiliation anymore. She had never been wronged like this in her entire life. When Huasiqian turned around, she dashed forward like a madwoman. Huasiqian, you beast, I'll kill you. She pounced on Huasiqian and tried to scratch his face. Helplessly, Huasiqian moved a step faster and gripped her neck tightly. He pinned her against the wall. Song Yishe, don't test my patience. Huasiqian, what right do you have to treat me like this? Who do you think you are? You're just a dog raised by someone else. Why are you so arrogant? Song Yishe was furious, so she didn't choose her words carefully. This sentence completely angered Huasiqian's sensitive nerves. There were two things he hated the most in his life. First, people called him an adopted son and a dog in front of him. Second, people slandered Huamin in front of him. This woman, Song Yishe, always went against Huamin. Now, on their wedding night, she shamelessly called her husband a dog. She was really digging her own grave. Huasiqian quickly pulled out the belt from his waist. With a smack, he whipped Song Yishe's body. Instantly, a burning pain spread all over her body. Song Yishe looked at Huasiqian in disbelief. Huasiqian, how dare you hit me? Song Yishe's eyes widened in disbelief. Chapter 1246. As soon as he finished speaking, he viciously whipped her with his belt. Song Yishe finally realized what was going on and tried to dodge, but it was too late. Finally, red marks appeared on her shoulders and legs. I've never hit a woman, but you're an exception. Huasiqian finished speaking. Another whip of the belt came. Song Yishe finally woke up from her daze and screamed. Not many women were beaten by their husbands on their wedding night, and Song Yishe was definitely one of the few. She thought that with her status as the daughter of the Song family, she could do whatever she wanted in the Hua family. She didn't even think of Huasiqian as a threat, but to her surprise, Huasiqian, I'm going to tell my dad. I'm going to file for divorce because of your perverted behavior. Come on, make the call now. Call your father immediately. Huasiqian held his belt in one hand and threw his phone on the bed with the other. Song Yishe looked at him suspiciously. She slowly picked up her phone. If she called her dad, then all the pain would end, right? The moment she picked up her phone, she heard Huasiqian's voice from the phone. 5 months ago, GK's land was supposed to be auctioned internally, but your dad decided to give it to GK, breaking the rules of the game. Qin Chu was also very generous and gave your dad a set of top-grade Hainan rosewood carvings. It's worth a fortune and is estimated to be over 100 million yuan. 4 months ago, the person in charge of Chengwang Technology illegally manipulated the stock market. He was supposed to be arrested as a criminal, but your dad gave him special permission to go abroad for treatment, so we missed the best opportunity to arrest him. I heard that a week later, you added 3 new mansions to your name in Italy. 3 months ago, Wang Dahai, the president of the Provincial Chamber of Commerce, was investigated for bribery. Thanks to your dad's connections, he was let off the hook. Then, a painting by a master of Chinese painting appeared on the wall of your living room. It's estimated to be worth over 80 million yuan. 2 months ago, upon hearing this, Song Yisher couldn't hold back anymore. Huasiqian, what are you trying to say? It's simple. I have all the dirt on every member of the Song family, your father, your uncle, and even you and Song Yishuan. If you really want your father to fall out with me, then you can call him and ask him to come and pick you up. We can also go through legal procedures to get a divorce, but if you do this, then I don't have to worry about anything. I can just expose all the dirty deeds your father has done over the years. Let's see if your father can still hold onto the mayor's seat then. Let's see if you're still the high and mighty Song family's eldest daughter. Huasiqian, you're lying to me. You don't have any evidence, you're just trying to scare me. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Anyway, I've already said what I wanted to say. Huasiqian turned around and carefully put his belt back on his pants. It was as if everything that had just happened was just a joke. His perverted personality was an eye-opener for Song Yisher. It also made her afraid from the bottom of her heart. This man was simply a devil. Song Yisher held onto her phone, feeling very conflicted. All these years, it was impossible to say that her father had been an honest and upright official with no record of corruption. All these years, she had spent tens of millions of yuan in Italy alone. How did a mayor with a salary manage to do that? Therefore, Huasiqian's dirt hit the Song family's lifeline. In the end, Song Yisher didn't dare to call. Huasiqian couldn't be bothered with her. He opened the door and left. Then he got into his sports car and sped away. Inside the huge mansion, Song Yisher wanted to cry but had no tears. She still didn't understand how a pervert like Huasiqian had his eyes on her. Wasn't she fighting with Huamin? How did Huasiqian set her up for no reason? At a certain nightclub, as soon as Huasiqian appeared, many beautiful women surrounded him. Huashao, isn't today a big day? Why are you out here? Is the bride not good enough? A few young models surrounded Huasiqian and began to talk dirty. Huasiqian smiled and was about to speak when he suddenly saw a familiar-looking woman among them. What's your name? Huasiqian pointed at one of the inconspicuous women. Chapter 1247. Huashao is asking for your name. My name is Wang Xianxia. The girl didn't expect to be the center of attention. Wang Xianxia, you're so old-fashioned. Huasiqian was speechless. Why was he so interested in her? This was because the girl's eyebrows resembled Huamian's, of course. It was just a little bit. Their facial features weren't similar, but the way they looked down was similar. That was why he was able to spot her among all the other women. You come sit here. Huasiqian patted the seat next to him. The girl was still in a daze. Xianxia, Huashao is calling for you. Hurry up and go over. A few girls were jealous and pushed her. They pushed the girl in front of Huasiqian. One of the girls said, Huashao, she just got here yesterday. She's a little dumb and not smart enough. If she doesn't do anything right, please don't mind her. Huasiqian didn't say anything, however. He put an arm around the girl's shoulder and appeared very intimate. Can you drink? A little. The girl was a little shy. Huasiqian picked up his glass. The girl frowned, gritted her teeth, and drank it all in one gulp. Then, the girls around them began to clap and cheer. Huasiqian took out a ton of cash from his bag and scattered it around him. Thank you, everyone. The girls immediately grabbed it all without any shame. Huasiqian gestured at the girl with his finger. Come with me. The girl was a little dumbfounded. Are you dumb? Huashao asked you to come out. Hurry up and go. A few girls pushed the girl and pushed her to Huasiqian's side. Then, she carefully followed behind Huasiqian and got into the Rolls-Royce Phantom. Then, they arrived at Huasiqian's other private mansion. It was more than 200 square meters of luxurious furniture. After Wang Xianxia showered, she walked out nervously. He wondered if he was lucky or unlucky to be called out by a big shot as soon as he arrived at this place. She didn't know anything about Huashao's background and didn't understand his emotions at all. But when she was ready to lay on the bed and face death with equanimity, Huasiqian gently hugged her from behind. Then he whispered in her ear, Let's sleep, Mian. Mian? Who is Huamian? This was what she wanted to ask, but she didn't say it out loud. She did not dare to make a sound and spent the night with this man in fear and trepidation. Miraculously, nothing actually happened. The next morning when Wang Xianxia got up, she could no longer see Wuxiqian's shadow. However, there was a check for 100,000 yuan left on the table. 100,000 yuan was not a lot. In the nightclub where she worked, many of the girls sold their virginity for 300,000, 500,000, or even 1 million yuan. But the problem was that he didn't touch her last night. Nothing happened between them. Did he just get 100,000 so easily? Wang Xianxia was in disbelief, however. She still carefully put the check in her bag and left nervously. South Side Recuperation Center, Huamin came to work early in the morning because there was a quarterly meeting at 7 a.m. and President Wu would be there. Therefore, as soon as she entered the office, she turned around and was about to change into her white lab coat. The office door was pushed open and gave her a fright. "What are you doing here so early in the morning?" When Huamin saw Wuxiqian, who was dressed very casually, walk in with a few food boxes in his hands, she was truly surprised. Didn't this guy just get married yesterday? But it was only 6:30 a.m., what was he doing at Southside? Chapter 1248. I'm eating breakfast. Before Huamin could say anything, Wuxiqian took out the breakfast from the lunchbox. There was crab porridge, steamed dumplings, and all sorts of side dishes. It was extremely exquisite. Although Huamin had already eaten breakfast at home, he still couldn't help but drool when he saw all this. But why did you come to my office for breakfast? I just happened to come to the Hua Foundation to check the accounts, and I haven't eaten yet. My stomach is really uncomfortable. The point is, why did you come to my office to eat? Huamin was speechless. I only know you. Do you think I'd go to the consultation hall to eat? Wuxiqian said matter-of-factly. Huamin, okay, then you eat quietly. I'm going to work for a bit. Huamin turned around and picked up the white coat hanging on the hanger. He tied up his messy hair. Then he picked up the black-rimmed glasses on the table and put them on. Immediately, his aura was completely different from before. Wuxiqian was just about to eat the porridge. He held a small spoon in his hand, but before he could eat, he burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Wuxiqian's strange laughter made Huamin feel like he was crazy. Wuxiqian raised his head and looked at Huamin's delicate face. He slowly said, I'm laughing at you. You're clearly a clean, white, and tender girl. Why do you have to dress like a middle-aged woman? Do you have to be mature and experienced to convince patients? What else? If you had prostate problems one day, and you went to the clinic to see a 17 or 18-year-old boy, how would you feel? Wuxiqian, little sister Mian, you can't curse me like that. We just had our wedding night last night. Wuxiqian wasn't angry. Instead, he laughed. He always seemed to have endless patience for Huamin. That was a good temper that he didn't treat anyone with. I'm just making an analogy. You don't have to take it personally. After Huamin finished speaking, he lowered his head and took out the documents he would need for the meeting later. Little sister Mian, I bought 2 servings. Do you want some? I'm not eating. The crab porridge is delicious. Wuxiqian, you're so annoying. Huamin suddenly raised his head and yelled. The next second he asked shamelessly, is it Li Ji's crab porridge? Wuxiqian nodded. Then, she very sensibly pushed the other bowl of crab porridge in front of Huamin. In the face of such a fragrant crab porridge, in such a chilly morning, Huamin still couldn't resist the temptation of delicious food. She began to eat without any moral principles. The truth was, Huamin wasn't as hostile towards Wuxiqian as before. Huamin was a smart person. After all this time, she realized that Wuxiqian didn't do anything to harm her. In fact, he did a lot of things to her advantage. For example, he set up the Hua Foundation at Southside and helped so many people. For example, he helped her deal with the old man and resolved the hatred in her heart. For example, he married Song Yishe for no reason, which made her secretly happy. Putting everything together, Huamin suddenly felt that Wuxiqian might not have been hostile towards him in the first place. Then, why should he treat him like an enemy? Qin Chu was right. It was always good to be cautious, but there was no need to treat him like an enemy, right? With this thought, Huamin let go of her previous prejudice towards Huasiqian. The morning sun slowly rose. The window reflected Huamin's delicate side profile. Huasiqian seriously watched Huamin eat his porridge. At this moment, he was the most beautiful scenery in Huasiqian's eyes. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Huamin suddenly raised his head and looked into Huasiqian's gentle eyes. For a moment he wasn't used to this. Chapter 1249. You haven't been using eye masks lately, have you? Huamin was almost convinced by Huasiqian's question. Was it really okay for a man to pay attention to the beauty of a female celebrity? She really wanted to kneel down. "So, you have crow's feet at the corner of your eyes?" "Really?" Huamin couldn't believe it, so she raised her hand and touched it. "It must be because you've been busy with work and haven't been resting well. Did you use what I asked my secretary to get you last time?" "Yeah, I used it all." Huamin nodded. "I'll get someone from the company to send you some more." The Huasiqian had a famous cosmetics brand that was one of the top brands in the country, so Huasiqian knew a lot about cosmetics. Huamin, on the other hand, was a natural beauty lover. She didn't like makeup and didn't know much about skincare. Therefore, she didn't know much about it. "It's okay, I'm still young. I'll be fine." "You're young now, but what about 10 years from now? When you're old, do you think Qin Chu will still love your face forever?" "Huamin, so you're saying that my husband will have a change of heart and cheat on me?" Huamin's face turned cold. "No, what I mean is, Miss Huamin, it's time for you to take care of your skin, okay?" After speaking, Huasiqian gracefully finished the last mouthful of crab porridge and turned to leave. "I'm going to go check the accounts. I'll leave this trash to you." After speaking, Huasiqian smiled and walked out of Huamin's office. "Damn, this guy is a pervert. He came to the hospital to eat porridge before the sun rises." Huamin complained as she cleaned up the mess. After seeing that it was about time, she went to the meeting room on the top floor. She didn't pay attention to the conversation with Huasiqian this morning. However, when she came back from the cafeteria at noon, she was shocked by the dozen or so skincare products. "What the hell is this?" Huamin looked at the pile of documents on his desk. "Hello, Miss Huasiqian. I'm the secretary of the president of the Hua Corporation, Mr. Huasiqian. He asked me to deliver these skincare products to you." This. How much are these?" Huamin stuttered. She was truly in the wrong. If that black-hearted Huasiqian were to demand an exorbitant price of tens of thousands of yuan, how could she bear to part with it? The female secretary couldn't help laughing and replied, "The president said that it's a gift for you, Miss Hua. These are the new products that the company has been developing recently. They have just been introduced to the market, and the feedback is good. Please accept them, Miss Hua." "Please thank Mr. Hua for me." "You're welcome, Miss Hua. Since you're the president's younger sister, this is what I should do. I won't disturb you any further, Miss Hua. Call me if you need anything." After that, the female secretary politely left a business card and turned to leave. Huamin looked at the platinum-colored boxes of skincare products. There were facial masks, eye masks, and foot masks written on them. The most outrageous one was the butt mask. Ahem. Does anyone buy this? It's so perverted. This was the first time in Huamin's life that people put masks on their buttocks. Did they think they were phones? Full-body masks? Would the Hua Corporation's cosmetics come out with tempered masks in the future? Explosion-resistant masks? Something like that? It was unimaginable. Huamin casually picked one up and flipped through it. He was almost shocked by the price tag. It was just eye masks. There were 6 pairs of them inside. The price was actually 3,998 yuan. How ridiculous, 6 pairs of eye masks cost 4,000 yuan. Didn't that mean that a pair of eye masks cost almost 700 yuan? And it was the kind that would be thrown away after use. This price was really exciting, for 000 yuan per box. Huasiqian sent a total of 15 boxes. At first glance, it was estimated to be more than 60,000 yuan. When Huasiqian burned money, he was no worse than Suyu. He was a god-level tycoon. Huamin didn't need that much himself, so he gave some to his assistant, Xianxia. The young girl was very flattered. When he got off work, Qin Chu came to pick him up on time. Huang Min put the things in the trunk before getting into the car. Honey, did your hospital give out a fortune? What the hell is that? Soybean oil or flour? Mr. Qin was a genius. Chapter 1250. Soybean oil? Flour? Do you think I'm an elementary school teacher? Huang Min couldn't stop laughing. What are you laughing at? Honey, can you not be so funny? Southside is a high-end rehabilitation center, but after hearing what you said, I feel like it's downgraded. Then what are they? They're skincare products, not from the hospital. They're from Wuxia. Wuxia gave them to you? Qin Chu was slightly surprised. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with him this morning, but he came to the Hua Foundation really early to check the accounts. When he saw me, he told me that I have crow's feet and insisted on giving me eye masks and face masks. Didn't he send them over at noon? I think he might also want me to advertise the Hua Corporation's new product. Yeah, that's possible. Qin Chu didn't say anything else. He didn't show any signs of jealousy. Wuxia was a very complicated person, and Qin Chu didn't have any evidence to back up his assumptions. He also didn't want to burden Huang Min. Unlike Su Yu, Wuxia was very introverted and liked to keep everything to himself. He also used his actions to prove how good he was to Huang Min, not with words. That was why Huang Min felt very secure when he was with Qin Chu. It was as if he had a feeling that no one in this world loved him more than Qin Chu did. He felt an inexplicable sense of trust and security. Honey, what are we eating tonight? Didn't you want to eat roasted lamb leg a while ago? Let's go, I made reservations. Wow, that's awesome. Huang Min was as happy as a child. He held onto Qin Chu's face and kissed it. His saliva got all over Qin Chu's face. However, Qin Chu, who was a clean freak, refused to wipe it off, because it was the mark of his beloved wife. If Gao Ran saw this, he would probably say that Qin Chu was a crazy wife protector. Huang Min had wanted to eat roast lamb leg for a long time. Huang Min didn't like mutton very much because it had a rank odor. However, the roasted leg of lamb was different. After being marinated with secret ingredients, the leg of lamb did not have a rank odor and was roasted in a stove. It was simply perfect in terms of appearance, smell, and taste. Last time, she and Jiang Xiaowei were about to start eating, but Su Yu and the others came. In order to avoid arousing suspicion, Huang Min slipped away before eating, so she really didn't get to eat a single bite. She had been so busy recently that she had forgotten about it. However, Qin Chu remembered every word she said, even if it was said carelessly. He would remember it in his heart. Every time this happened, Huang Min would feel warmth in his heart. The sufferings that she had suffered with Qin Chu in the past were nothing. However, she didn't know that God's test for them wouldn't end like this. In the end, Huang Min wanted to kill herself several times to end the pain. It was all because she couldn't stand the painful separation from Qin Chu. Of course, this was all in the future. Right now, Huang Min still didn't realize that disaster was coming. When Qin Chu drove, she leaned on his shoulder like a little bird. She smelled his unique scent of hormones. She gently placed her right hand on top of Qin Chu's right hand and interlocked their fingers. Honey, if you're like this, it's hard for me to concentrate on driving, Mr. Qin complained. Huh? Then pretend that I don't exist. How can I do that? You're just blatantly seducing me, okay? Then why don't we have sex at that red light up ahead? Huang Min joked for the first time. Qin Chu's face darkened. Honey, you know that red light only lasts for 35 seconds. What can we do in such a short time? Don't you know what we can do in such a short time? Huang Min asked in all seriousness. Are you mocking me? Mr. Qin finally realized that he had been played. Ha, Huang Min laughed hysterically. Very well, I'll remember this and deal with you tonight. Qin Chu didn't know what to do with her, so he pinched her white fingers lovingly. When they arrived at the roasted lamb leg restaurant, Qin Chu was just about to reverse into the parking lot when Huang Min suddenly saw something and said, Honey, stop the car. Then she immediately opened the car door and got out. Chapter 1251. Qin Chu looked in the direction that Hua Min was heading and saw a woman in a red evening gown standing at the entrance of the hotel. It was Hua Yanyan. Hua Yanyan's hair was up in a bun and she wore a very ordinary evening gown that didn't look very expensive. Her makeup wasn't very good either. Compared to Jiang Shaowei and Song Yishi's wedding, it was a world of difference. Right now, she was wearing a wedding corsage on her gown. She was escorting the guests out. When she saw Hua Min, she was also a bit shocked. She didn't expect to see him at an event like this. Hua Min hadn't seen Hua Yanyan in a long time. Apparently, after Xin Jiani lost for nothing, she was living a miserable life. He helped her out twice before, but later, he heard that she was very afraid of Hua Xiqian. So, she found a boyfriend and moved out. Apparently, he was a construction contractor. However, Hua Min didn't expect her to get married so soon. Hua Xiqian's wedding was yesterday, and hers was today. Hua Xiqian's wedding was at a famous 5-star hotel. Hua Yanyan's wedding was at a small restaurant next to the roasted lamb leg. It didn't look very big. She couldn't help but feel a bit sad. She used to be quite famous in the socialite circle. Now, she was in such a predicament. She had to admit that every dog has its day. "You are getting married today?" Hua Min was the first to speak. He looked at Hua Yanyan in a bridal gown in disbelief. Yes. Hua Yanyan nodded. She was getting married, but no one from her family was present. It was a very lonely day. After Hua Xiqian knocked Hua Zhenghai down, he retreated to a 3-bedroom apartment in the Hua Manor to recuperate. He refused to see anyone, and it seemed like he had suffered quite a blow. Hua Xiqian hired a nurse to take care of him, so no one could see him. Shen Jiani had already absconded with her son and the adulterer with the last bucket of gold. However, life abroad wasn't that great either. Sometimes, Hua Si would call Hua Yanyan to ask for money. Hua Yanyan didn't have much money herself. It wasn't easy for her to find a contractor boyfriend who treated her quite well. He often bought her clothes and gave her some money, but she couldn't bear to spend it on herself and sent it overseas. He had to admit that his days were tough, therefore, she did not tell anyone about her marriage. Her former fair-weather friends had also disappeared. Hua Min was the only one who didn't hit her when she was down. She still felt that he was out of her league. "Why didn't you say anything?" Hua Min looked at Hua Yanyan sadly. She was no longer as arrogant as she used to be. Instead, she looked calm and peaceful. "I'm embarrassed. You know that I don't have any family here. My mom and brother went abroad, and our dad is like that. Hua Xiqian and Jiang Hong want me to disappear immediately. I can't stay in the Hua family anymore, so I stopped contacting my old friends. After I left, I met this man and got married. I was so mean to you in the past, and I'm so grateful that you helped me. How could I ask you to come to my wedding?" Hua Yanyan crossed her hands and gently rubbed them together. It was obvious that she was still a little nervous in front of Hua Min. "That person, does he treat you well?" Hua Min looked at Hua Yanyan, who was wearing a cheap gown, with pity. She was exceptionally beautiful today. Hua Min had known her for a long time, but he had never seen such a beautiful Hua Yanyan before. Her big eyes were watery, and she had dimples on her face. She didn't have the stink of money from before. Hua Min was a little surprised that Hua Yanyan got married so quickly. Previously, she had been hell-bent on chasing after young Master Xin, trying desperately to compete with Wei Ying. At that time, Hua Min thought that even if she wasn't doing well, she would at least find a rich second-generation heir. Chapter 1252. Treats me really well. He's more than 10 years older than me, and he's been widowed for more than 2 years. He also has a 6-year-old boy living with his grandmother. Although he's not very rich, and he takes on some small projects every year, it's not too bad. "I'm doing really well right now," Hua Yanyan carefully recalled. Once, when she went to a bar to get drunk, she was almost taken away by a few hooligans. It was this person who saved her in the nick of time. He even opened a hotel for her and gave her some money. Hua Yanyan hadn't felt this kind of warmth in a long time, especially when she was at her lowest point in life. Therefore, she treated this feeling as love, or perhaps it was the last straw that saved her from the Hua family. That's good, actually. As long as you can live a normal life, it's also a form of happiness. Huamin slowly said as he looked at her. Huamin thought that it was good that Hui Yanyan got over it, otherwise, with her current status, even if she married into a rich family, she would still be treated coldly. Plus, her husband might not even be faithful. She might as well find a normal family to live with. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I just hope that I can forget about the past and start afresh. Hui Yanyan said, word for word. Huamin took out her wallet from her bag. She didn't carry a lot of cash with her every day. She only had around 3,000 to 5,000. She estimated that she probably had less than 4,000 on hand right now. Therefore, she took out 3,000 yuan and handed it to Hui Yanyan. Take it. No, I don't want it. Hui Yanyan obviously didn't want to take it. Take it, it's a gift. Congratulations on your wedding. After speaking, before Hui Yanyan could say anything, Huamin stuffed the money into her hands. Hui Yanyan's emotions were complicated, and tears seemed to be glistening in her eyes. She never thought that there would be a day when she would get married. On such an important day, her parents and brother weren't by her side. Only Huamin, her former enemy, was by her side. This was the biggest irony in life. Huamin, thank you for forgiving me. I'm not as magnanimous as you are, and I'm not as broad-minded as you are, so I'm destined to never get the happiness that you got. But I still have to thank you. You've taught me a lot. Maybe it's not the worst thing that happened to me, but it's the most unforgettable experience. I feel that you're still able to treat me so calmly even though I treated you so badly back then. I have to say, that's not something an ordinary person can do. If you were a man, you would have achieved great things. Huamin smiled. But I'm a woman. So, there are so many people who like you, and there are also so many people who want to protect you. Hui Yanyan seemed to know something. She looked at Huamin with a complicated gaze. Yanyan, is this your friend? The groom walked out and put his arm around Hui Yanyan's shoulder. Huamin could clearly see that it was an ordinary-looking and slightly old man. He was wearing a rustic suit and was slightly plump. The good thing was that he looked familiar, so he didn't look annoying. This is my friend, Hui Yanyan introduced. Welcome. There's a banquet inside. Please come in. The groom looked very welcoming. It's okay, my husband is waiting for me. I'll leave first. I wish you all the best. After Huamin gave the wedding gift, she didn't want to stay any longer, so she turned around and left. When she returned to the restaurant next door, Qin Chu got out of his car as well. What's wrong? Why do you look so sad? Qin Chu could tell that Huamin wasn't in a good mood. Hui Yanyan got married to a middle-aged man who's more than 10 years older than her. He's widowed and has a 6-year-old son. I never thought that this would be her final destination. I feel a little sad. Qin Chu gently hugged Huamin and patted her back to comfort her. Silly girl, she used to be your enemy. But she's also an old friend of mine. Huamin's voice was a little choked up. As a woman, she felt sad for Hui Yanyan's fate. Who are these two? They're hugging each other on the street. Seriously, they're such an eyesore. The woman's voice was domineering. Upon hearing such a familiar voice, Huamin turned her head and smiled through her tears. Why are you two idiots here? Chapter 1253. When Huamin saw Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling, she was pleasantly surprised. Everyone had been busy for the past few days, and aside from the occasional WeChat message, they didn't really keep in touch. When she was in such a low mood, she was able to see her two best friends who were on extremely good terms with each other. It was really as if the clouds had dispersed and the mist had dispersed. Mr. Qin contacted us. He said he wanted to treat us to roasted lamb. Zhu Lingling playfully pointed at Qin Chu. Huamin looked at Qin Chu with happiness written all over her face. Why didn't you tell me? Would it be a surprise if I told you? Qin Chu lovingly patted Huamin's head. Hey, okay, can you guys stop torturing us? That's enough, stop being so lovey-dovey. As Zhu Lingling spoke, she walked up and wrapped her arms around Huamin's arm. Where's your police? He's on duty, he said he'll be here soon. Huamin turned around and looked at Xiaowei. Where's young Master Wei? He was stuck in a traffic jam. I came in Lingling's car and took the highway. You're smart. Come on, let's go in first. As he spoke, Huamin walked into the restaurant with Zhu Lingling on his left arm and Jiang Shaowei on his right arm. Qin Chu booked a luxurious private room. The three of them sat inside, and Huamin and her two best friends chatted and laughed, completely forgetting about the sadness they felt because of Hui Yanyan. Qin Chu was on his phone doing business. Soon, Wei Liao and Gao Ran arrived as well. The three couples sitting together were especially eye-catching, because they were all handsome guys and pretty girls. There was even a hilarious episode in the middle. A waiter knocked on the door and came in, asking for a photo and autographs. At the time, Gao Ran asked in a showy manner, "Do I look like a celebrity?" "Actually, I'm not." Who knew that the waiter would reply, "No, it's just that you guys are pretty good looking, and maybe one of you will become famous in the future. So, I wanted to take a photo with you guys first. What if you become famous in the future?" After the waiter said this, the others couldn't help but laugh. Zhu Lingling laughed the loudest, and she wrapped her arms around Gao Ran's neck. "Mr. Policeman, I didn't know you could be embarrassed like this." Jiang Shaowei looked at the waiter and laughed. "It's a waste of your brain to be a waitress. Why don't you follow me in the stock market? You have such foresight and can even see the future. You're really a genius." Actually, this waiter's eyes. He was the waiter in charge of this private room. When he saw how good-looking the guests were, he was stunned. Naturally, he's was. So, he took a photo, take a photo but he's years ins in yenny, took a year's day, like cine. "Mr. Policeman, your Photoshop skills are pretty good, it looks real." Waiter, "I didn't Photoshop, this is a real photo, okay?" Yenny, but why did you take a photo with these big shots?" Waiter, "Big shots? What big shots?" Yenny, "Don't tell me you don't know these people?" Waiter, "I really don't know them, I used to be a waiter in a restaurant, and I took a photo with them on a whim." Yenny, Waiter, "So, they're all?" Yenny, "Come, let me introduce you. The man on the left with a bright smile is the CEO of the Wei Financial Group, and the woman next to him is Mrs. Wei, who was pregnant at the time. She's a famous psychologist in the country, and later opened the largest psychology hospital in the country. The tall, muscular man next to them is the famous Chief Gao of the City Bureau, and the woman next to him is his wife. I heard that she's now running her own perfume brand, and she's a very capable career woman." Waiter, "What about the last couple? The man with the best looks and the pretty girl beside him? Why do I feel like they're the best?" Chapter 1254. Junior, they're the best. They used to be the most powerful people in Sea City. The man is rich and has billions of dollars in assets. He's a famous tycoon in Asia. The woman is smart and is a famous medical celebrity in the country and even the world. She's the only female Nobel Prize winner from China. She shocked the world. Let me tell you, uncle, this photo of yours can be sold for at least 1 million yuan. Waiter, where are they now? Are they still in Sea City? Junior, later. They went through a lot of things. I can't tell you all of them in a short time, but I recommend you watch a good TV series. It's about the legend of their lives. Waiter, what TV series? Junior, Secret Marriage and Sweet Love. Waiter, what's that? Junior, it's based on a good romance novel called Secret Marriage and Sweet Love. A paranoid husband is addicted to spoiling. Waiter, I've never heard of it. Junior, anyway, uncle, you really had the foresight many years ago. You were so lucky to have such a big group photo. Anyway, any one of them is a top figure in the country. Waiter, okay. I finally know what it means to unintentionally plant a willow and grow a shade. When the 6 couples got together, they always had fun. At first, Wei Liao wasn't used to it. After all, he and Suyu had been buddies since they were kids. So, when he was with Qin Chu, he felt like a traitor who betrayed his buddies. So, young Master Wei was always gloomy when they got together. Later on, thanks to Dr. Zhang's guidance and brainwashing, Wei Liao happily joined the couple army and even shared a happy photo with his friends on WeChat. He posted a photo of the 6 of them eating roast lamb leg. He added the caption, "Gathering with my wife's best friend." The moment the photo was posted, the comment section was full of comments, weighing, "Wow. My second brother and second sister-in-law are so happy. They're showing off their love again. Tang Chuan, traitor, absolutely traitor. While Lord Su is going down south, you defected to the enemy. I look down on you. By the way, is the lamb leg delicious? Give me the address." Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, "Get lost." A few seconds later, Su left a comment at the bottom of the post. "The one on the left in the photo, is there a high-definition image? Asking for a large sum of money." Wei Liao almost fainted after reading it. Who else could Zuo-san be but Huamin? However, young Master Wei purposely teased Lord Su and replied, "Zuo-san? Are you talking about that kid from the criminal police unit? Su Yu, fuck off, don't play dumb with me. That's the third person on the right, I'm talking about the third person on the left. I'll give you one last chance to speak properly. Otherwise, do you believe that I'll take a plane back to strangle you?" Wei Liao, "Ha, Lord Su, please spare my life. I'll send you the picture immediately." Tang Chuan, "Master Wei, you have no integrity. I look down on you." Speaking of which, is the lamb leg delicious? Continue to ask for the address, or send me your location. Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, "Fuck off, you little bastard." Wei Liao was a man of action. After sending a WeChat message to Su Yu, he raised his phone and secretly took a photo of Huamin. She realized that the photo wasn't very clear, so she took 2 more photos. "What are you doing?" Jiang Xiaowei leaned over and whispered into Wei Liao's ear. "Damn, Wei Wei, are you trying to scare me to death? I'm asking you what you're doing." "Nothing, I wanted to post it on WeChat so I took a photo." Wei Liao felt guilty and immediately put down his phone. Huamin, who was talking, looked over curiously. Wei Liao felt guilty again. He immediately turned his head and wiped Jiang Xiaowei's mouth with a tissue. "Wei Wei, look at you, your mouth is covered in oil. Fuck, can you not wipe my mouth with the tissue you just used to wipe your mouth?" Wei Liao was speechless. He picked it up and looked at it. Indeed, he panicked and took the wrong one. Fortunately, he successfully sent the photo to Su. Su Yu, who was in the South China Sea, was at the beach as the sun set. He listened to the ebb and flow of the tide and looked at the photo on his phone. His eyes were filled with endless gentleness. Chapter 1255. In the photo, Huamin's hair cascaded down to her shoulders. It was very similar to the hairstyle of the female lead in the popular web drama, Brooding Over My Heart. She had this hairstyle in high school, and Qin Chu liked it very much. Once, when they were chatting, Qin Chu said that he liked her hair like this. Huamin decided to style Qin Chu's hair again. But strangely, even though the 24-year-old Huamin had the hairstyle from 7 years ago, it didn't look out of place. Youth didn't leave too many traces on her face. Whether it was 7 years ago or 7 years later, Huamin always looked so calm and collected. She had a maturity and magnanimity that people her age didn't have. She was dressed very simply. She only wore a white shirt with a red spider lily embroidered on the collar. The black silk thread set off the white shirt, and it looked exceptionally beautiful. With a delicate face and such a fresh outfit, Huamin always gave people the feeling of being bathed in the spring breeze. Su Yu quietly looked at the photo and felt an inexplicable sense of tranquility in his heart. It was said that one's honey was another's arsenic. This saying was not false at all when it came to Su Yu. To Qin Chu, Huamin was his honey. Their high school days were Qin Chu's most beautiful treasures. To Su Yu, Huamin's purity, which he didn't have time to participate in, was a touch of arsenic. Every time he saw her and Qin Chu standing together and smiling happily, he would feel so much pain that he wanted to die. "Young master, the chief wants you to go back for a meeting." "Okay." Su Yu carefully put away his phone and walked in the direction of the military camp. When he followed his grandfather to the south, he wasn't a playboy who ate, drank, and played all day. Instead, he put on a military uniform and trained every day like the soldiers. He went to bed early and woke up early, doing what a normal soldier should do. So, every day was very fulfilling. He didn't dare to let himself relax, because whenever he had time, his thoughts would run wild. Whenever his thoughts ran wild, he would think of the girl named Huamin. Whenever he thought of the girl named Huamin, his heart would hurt again. It was an endless cycle. Back at the military camp, Grandpa was having a meeting with a few subordinates. When they saw Su Yu come in, they smiled. You're getting better and better. It's time to find a wife. Uncle Zhang canceled it. I'm still too young. So you young? When the chief was your age, your father was already 5 years old. Su Yu was speechless. Come here. Your uncles have put in a lot of effort for your marriage. They even picked out a lot of pictures of female soldiers from the military doctors. Come and take a look. Don't you like female doctors the most? These are all. Grandpa Su had more than 20 photos of girls in military uniforms. Each one was prettier than the other. Grandpa, what's wrong? Grandpa, I came down south with you to experience life again. I'm not here to find a wife. Besides, if I wanted to find one, there are plenty in our hometown. There's no need for me to come all the way here. Listen, my grandson. When he's arguing, he's so reasonable. Master Lord Su pointed at Su Yu helplessly. You, don't make things too difficult for your grandpa. He's old. Grandpa's subordinates tried to persuade him. Su Yu glanced at them and then at Lord Su. Then, he said word by word, I didn't make things difficult for Grandpa. Grandpa, please don't make things difficult for me. I'm an adult and have the right to make my own choices. If Grandpa wants, I can dedicate my life to the army. Even if I die for the country, I won't regret it. But please don't make things difficult for me in this aspect. I only have one heart. I want to make my own decisions. Su Yu pointed at his chest and said proudly, You're the one who said that. Lord Su's eyes moistened when he heard this. He casually put the photo aside. He sighed. Forget it, little brat. I won't care about you anymore. You can do whatever you want in the future, but you'll always be my proudest grandson. In a restaurant in Sea City, the 6 couples were eating and the atmosphere was very lively. Zhu Lingling, the clown, suggested, Why don't we play a game to test your IQ? What do you think? Chapter 1256. Ahem. Lingling, calm down. Don't take things too hard, okay? Gao Ran quickly stopped Zhu Lingling. Zhu Lingling rolled her eyes at him. How am I taking things too hard? Are you sure you want to play an IQ test game with Huamin and Dr. Jiang? Gao Ran purposely dragged out his words. Wei Liao and Qin Chu both smiled but didn't say anything. So what? Zhu Lingling was still arrogant. Are you sure you don't want to die? It's fine if we're not smart, but can't we have some self-awareness? I'm not going to do something like that. Fine, if you don't agree, you can move out of my house tonight. Gao Ran, you can't threaten me like that, right? Gao Ran looked like he was about to cry. Zhu Lingling's unreasonable behavior was super uncute. Oh, are you guys living together? Huamin covered his mouth and laughed. Yeah, aren't you going to invite us to cook the pot? Are we still considered best friends? Jiang Shaowei added fuel to the fire. Only then did Zhu Lingling realize that she had let the cat out of the bag. Gao Ran covered his head and sighed. I'm not afraid of a godlike opponent, but I'm afraid of a pig-like teammate. What are you talking about? Zhu Lingling raised her voice. Gao Ran was so scared that he immediately sat up straight and said, I say, Lingling, whatever you say is right. Let's play a game that tests our IQ. Worst comes to worst, we'll be the first to get 5th or 6th place. Zhu Lingling, would it really be that bad? Zhu Lingling didn't believe it. Hey, you guys with insanely high IQs, do you dare to play? Zhu Lingling looked at Jiang Shaowei and Huamin provocatively. I'm fine with anything, Huamin replied calmly. Same here, Jiang Shaowei replied domineeringly. Zhu Lingling put her hands on her hips and looked back at Qin Chu and Wei Liao. What about you two? I'll listen to my wife. Wei Liao hugged Shaowei and said sweetly. Qin Chu pinched Huamin's cheek. My Mian has the final say. Gao Ran looked at the two of them with disdain. I really look down on you two henpecked slaves. Then he leaned over to Zhu Lingling with a cheeky smile and asked, Lingling, as long as you're happy, anything is fine? Qin Chu was speechless. Wei Liao was speechless. So, stop making fun of us, you're a slave to your wife. Is the pot calling the kettle black? Mr. Qin retorted. However, Gao Ran shamelessly said, please, I'm different from you. How are we different? Wei Liao froze. You guys have wives and I'm your girlfriend, so we're different, Gao Ran said with a smug smile. So we're legally sleeping together, and you're illegally living together? Is it really okay to knowingly break the law? The people's police are a bit. Wei Liao laughed. Yeah, what's the phone number of the municipal bureau? I want to report it, Qin Chu cooperated. Gao Ran, ahem. Everyone come, let's eat and drink, let's eat and drink. He dug a hole and ended up falling into it himself. It wasn't the first time Gao Ran did this, and everyone was already used to it. At this moment, Zhu Lingling was still in high spirits. Are you guys going to play or not? Of course, Sister Lingling is finally in the mood, why not? Huamin laughed. Yeah, we'll definitely risk our lives to play with you, Jiang Xiaowei replied while playing on her phone. Don't think you're so great just because you guys have high IQ. Let me tell you, our game this time is very difficult. You might not win just because you're smart, Zhu Lingling said confidently. Chapter 1257. So, what are the rules? Sister Lingling, can you tell us about them? Huamin rarely saw Zhu Lingling so happy, so he decided to play along with her. Let's talk about the stakes first. The loser will put 1,000 yuan on the table, and the winner will take it all. Okay? You're obviously trying to scam us. Huamin laughed. Yes, that's what I mean. Do you guys dare to play? I'm okay. We're all okay. Huamin and Jiang Xiaowei knew Zhu Lingling well, so they accepted the challenge without even thinking. The problem was, Zhu Lingling hadn't told them the rules yet. So, the beautiful and kind Miss Zhu Lingling, can you tell us the rules of the game now? Gao Ran was getting impatient. The rules of the game are actually very simple, we just have to tell jokes. Finally, Zhu Lingling laid out her cards. Tell jokes? What kind of IQ game is this? Gao Ran was speechless. Let's each tell a story. If everyone laughs, you win. If one person doesn't laugh, you lose. The loser has to take out 1,000 yuan and put it on the stage in the middle. The winner takes it all. Ha! Zhu Lingling was extremely proud of herself. Look at how cocky you are, as if you're going to win for sure. Jiang Xiaowei laughed as she looked at Zhu Lingling. So, everyone, tell us the most classic joke of your life. We're going to talk about heroes while drinking. Then, Zhu Lingling took the initiative to pick up the wine glass and filled everyone's glass. Jiang Xiaowei was pregnant, so she used mineral water instead. In the end, after everyone drank a cup of wine together, Gao Ran proudly stood up. I'll tell a joke first. I'm an expert at telling jokes. Everyone in our station is laughing so hard that they can't stop. So, you're done? Mr. Qin asked quietly from the side. Bullshit, I haven't said anything yet, okay? Gao Ran glared at Qin Chu. Huamin and Jiang Xiaowei were amused. Hurry up and tell us. Don't waste our time. Zhu Lingling pushed Gao Ran's waist with her fist. Gao Ran began to narrate the story vividly. It was said that an abbot was meditating when he suddenly encountered a bandit who placed a large saber on his neck. Bandit, damn old man, take out all your money and I'll spare your life. Abbot, money is just a worldly possession. You can't bring it with you when you're alive, and you can't bring it with you when you die. Benefactor, take it, take it. Then, the abbot handed the money bag to the criminal. Bandit, is this what you got from begging for alms in your life? Can you really bear to do that? Abbot, Buddhism emphasizes on karma and reincarnation. You and I had karma in our past lives, so today's karma has resulted in today's karma. The criminal was quite moved. Abbot, I have committed grave sins. Do you have a way to save me? Abbot, yes. Bandit, what is it? Abbot, lay down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha. Then, the bandit put down the knife in his hand and bowed his head in repentance. The abbot took a step forward. picked up the large saber on the ground, and placed it on the bandit's neck. He scolded, "Give me back my money, you little bastard." After Gao Ran finished narrating the story vividly, Huamin and Jiang Shaowei laughed out loud. Qin Chu and Wei Liao were more reserved. They only smiled slightly. Zhu Lingling, who was beside him, looked calm. "She actually didn't laugh? Eh? You're not giving me face?" Gao Ran complained. Zhu Lingling stretched out her hand. "Cut the crap. Pay up." Gao Ran felt that his story was quite funny. If he told this joke once in the bureau, both the newcomers and the seniors would laugh. However, why did Zhu Lingling, who was usually easily amused, jump when she heard it? Gao Ran had no choice but to admit defeat. He took out his wallet, took out 1,000 yuan, and placed it in the small bamboo basket at the center of the table. "Who's next?" Zhu Lingling asked happily. Upon seeing Zhu Lingling's smug expression, Huamian whispered to Jiang Shaowei, "I think Zhu Lingling is going to use her ultimate move against us today." "Then let me tell one." Wei Liao saw that no one was eager to speak, so he stood up. Jiang Shaowei tilted her head and looked at her husband. To be honest, she was looking forward to how funny her husband could be. Chapter 1258. Little Chick wants to know what happiness is. So he went to ask the tiger, and the tiger said that happiness is being together as a family. Little Chick went to ask the lion, and the lion said that having 3 wives and 4 concubines is happiness. Little Chick didn't want to give up, so he went to ask the leopard, and the leopard said that having a healthy body is happiness. In the end, Little Chick happily went home and told his mother about everything that happened today. His mother patted his head and said with deep meaning, "Child, you're the happiest today." Little Chick didn't understand why. His mother said, "You're lucky that you came back alive today. Look at the people you asked, they were so fucking scary." After Wei Liao finished, Jiang Shaowei burst out laughing. Then, she pinched Wei Liao coquettishly and said, "Why didn't you tell me something this funny?" "I just remembered." "Honey, don't pinch me, it's going to bruise." He looked around and saw that everyone was laughing, except for Zhu Lingling, who was still as calm as ever. "Are you determined to win our money?" Wei Liao laughed. "Little guy, just hold it in. Let's see how long you can hold it in." Jiang Shaowei was also amused. Just then, Wei Liao admitted defeat. He took out 1,000 yuan from his wallet and placed it in the bamboo basket. This was the second person to lose so miserably, it seemed like everyone was off to a bad start. Just then, Huamin pulled on Qin Chu's sleeve and said, "Honey, why don't you tell one too? All the guys here have done it, it's your turn now." Mr. Qin thought hard. He had always been cold and arrogant, and he rarely turned into a joker, so it was quite difficult for him to tell a joke. But since Huamin asked, he couldn't disappoint his wife. So, Qin Chu stood up awkwardly and said seriously, "Then I'll tell one. It might not be funny, and there might be an awkward silence." "It's okay, your joke doesn't have to be funny. Just take 1,000 yuan. Gao Ran interrupted. Huamin applauded for Qin Chu like a little girl. Then she raised her fist and said, "Hubby, you can do it." Qin Chu nodded and said, "There was an old farmer who raised a pig for many years. The pig was very strong, but he was reluctant to kill it. Then one day, people from the Animal Protection Association came to the village for an inspection and asked him, 'What does your pig eat every day?' He said wild vegetables. The people from the Animal Protection Association were unhappy. They said that the pig was given such poor food and that it was animal cruelty. They would be fined 500 yuan. The old farmer felt uncomfortable, but he obediently paid the fine. The next day, people from the charity organization came and asked him, 'What do your pigs eat?' He said, 'My pig eats fish and meat every day. In short, whatever we eat, the pig will eat.' In the end, the people from the charity organization said that it was a waste of food. Many children in the mountainous areas could not even afford to eat steamed buns. They fined him 500 yuan. The old farmer felt aggrieved, but he still paid the fine obediently. On the third day, the leaders of the county came to inspect and asked him, 'What do your pigs eat every day?' The old farmer hesitated for a long time before he carefully answered, 'I give it 10 yuan every day. It can buy whatever it wants to eat.' After Qin Chu finished, everyone laughed again. Huamin gave him a thumbs up. This is the first time I've heard my husband tell a joke so formally. It's pretty funny. Qin Chu, I didn't know you had such a funny side, huh? Jiang Xiaowei couldn't stop laughing. Wei Liao and Gao Ran also enjoyed it. Just then, everyone turned to look at Zhu Lingling. They saw that she was still expressionless and calm. My Lingling didn't laugh again? Gao Ran raised his eyebrows. Without another word, Qin Chu immediately took out 1,000 yuan and placed it in the bamboo basket. The three men all failed miserably. Xiaowei, you do one and break through Zhu Lingling's zombie face. Huamin looked at Jiang Xiaowei and said, Okay, leave the difficult task to me. I promise to tell the funniest joke. I'm telling you guys, I'm counting on this joke for the rest of my life. Jiang Xiaowei rolled up her sleeves and stood up with great fanfare. Wei Liao carefully supported her, afraid that she would fall. Honey, calm down, don't move too much. Take it easy. Listen up, all of you. Jiang Xiaowei was full of confidence as soon as she started. She had a PhD in psychology, so she should be able to grasp everyone's thoughts, right? Everyone immediately placed their hopes on her. Chapter 1259. Jiang Xiaowei coughed lightly and said seriously, An American, a French, and a Chinese man were walking in the desert. They were thirsty, hungry, and tired. As they walked, they suddenly picked up a bottle. When they opened it, a person floated out. The person said, I'm the genie. I can fulfill 3 of your wishes. The American man liked to take advantage of others. The first one said, My first wish is a lot of money. My second wish is still a lot of money. My third wish is to go back to America. The genie nodded. That's easy. Then he waved his hand and the American man went home with a lot of money. The French man also said, My first wish is beautiful women. My second wish is a lot of beautiful women. My last wish is to go back to France. The genie waved his hand. That's easy. Then, the French man went home with a lot of beautiful women. Finally, the Chinese man sat on the ground and said, My first wish is a bottle of ergot. The genie gave it to him. Then, he said, My second wish is another bottle of ergot. The genie gave him another bottle. After he drank it, the genie asked, What's your third wish? The Chinese man thought hard and finally said, I want 2 friends. Tell them to come back. Instantly, the American and French men all returned to the desert. After Jiang Xiaowei finished speaking, everyone laughed. Although they didn't laugh, they all thought it was quite interesting. However, Zhu Lingling didn't laugh. Jiang Xiaowei continued, Don't worry, I'm not done yet. Then, the 3 of them continued walking in the desert. They picked up another bottle and another person came out. This person said, I'm the genie's younger brother. My power is not as high as my brother's, so I can only fulfill 2 of your wishes. The American and French men thought about it. They were afraid that the Chinese man would ruin it, so they decided to let him speak first. The Chinese man thought hard and said, My first wish is a bottle of ergot. After he drank it, the genie asked, What's your second wish? The Chinese man thought about it and said, I don't have any more wishes. You can go back first. The French and Americans were dumbfounded. Before they could even say their wishes, the genie had left. Huamin hugged Qin Chu's neck and laughed uncontrollably. Wei Liao lowered his head and took out his phone to take a short video, laughing as he did so. Gao Ran was also laughing uncontrollably. He said, Dr. Jiang, this is good. I'm going to keep it for my subordinates when I go back to the station. Everyone looked at Zhu Lingling again. She still didn't smile. Jiang Xiaowei felt embarrassed and immediately said, Before I could finish, the 3 of them left and picked up another bottle. Another lamp god came out and said, I'm the disciple of the 2 lamp gods just now. My magic power is not as strong as the 2 masters, so I can only fulfill 1 wish for each of you. As soon as the genie finished speaking, the Americans and the French said in unison, Send the Chinese back first. So the Chinese went home, the genie left, and the Americans and the French stayed in the desert forever. Jiang Xiaowei finished her story. It was a joke that was split into 3 parts, which was quite interesting. However, Zhu Lingling didn't laugh. Lingling, don't you think it's funny? Gao Ran was puzzled. I don't think so. Hurry up and pay up, Dr. Jiang. Zhu Lingling waved her hand. Jiang Shaowei took out 1,000 yuan and put it in a bamboo basket. Zhu Lingling, I really admire you. In the end, everyone placed their hopes on Huamin. Huamin felt everyone's expectant gazes and pouted. Don't look at me like that. I'm stressed. We believe in you. Jiang Shaowei smiled. I don't even believe in myself. I'm not easily amused. Huamin was a little embarrassed. Go on, now it's only you and Zhu Lingling left. I have faith in you. Wei Liao felt that since Huamin was so good, she would definitely be able to defeat Zhu Lingling. Therefore, Huamin nodded. Under everyone's expectant gazes, she stood up and began to tell her most classic joke. Chapter 1260. As the final guest, Zhu Lingling received a lot of attention. No matter what others said, she didn't laugh. She was amazing. Zhu Lingling looked around and said calmly, there was once a king who had a pet that he loved very much. It was an elephant. Because the king doted on this elephant for many years, it became very arrogant. Many people didn't dare to provoke it. Finally, when it was time for the king's daughter, the princess, to get married, the king suddenly had an idea. He said that he would marry his daughter to whoever could make his elephant shake its head, nod its head, and sit down in the pool. Many unmarried young men came to try it out, but they all failed. One day, a young beggar came and asked the king if he could try. The king thought that he couldn't do it, so he nodded. The beggar came to the elephant and asked, Do you know me? The elephant shook its head. Then he asked, I heard that you're quite awesome? The elephant nodded. Finally, he took out a torch and lit up the elephant's tail. The elephant sat down in the pool in a hurry. Everyone was surprised, and the king was even more surprised. However, he wasn't willing to marry the princess to the beggar, so he deliberately made things difficult for the beggar and said, This time doesn't count. If you can make my elephant nod its head, shake its head, and sit down in the pool, I'll admit defeat. The beggar didn't panic. He came to the elephant again and asked, Bro, do you still recognize me? The elephant nodded timidly. He continued to ask, Are you still awesome? The elephant took 2 steps back and shook its head. Finally, he took out a torch and continued, I don't need to tell you what to do, right? The elephant nodded, and without another word, sat down in the pool. After Zhu Lingling finished, everyone laughed. Although it wasn't a roar of laughter, everyone had a happy expression on their faces. You're all laughing. Does the money belong to me? Zhu Lingling was happy. Yes. You're the best. Take it. We were tricked by you this time. Jiang Shaowei covered her mouth and laughed. Although everyone lost money, they were happy. How big of an honor would it take to have such a group of people tell jokes one by one? Especially Qin Chu. It was the first time that even Huamin had heard him tell a joke. Zhu Lingling happily pocketed the 5,000 yuan she had won. Huamin said with a smile, Lingling is such a scammer. She must be doing this on purpose. Speaking of which, I thought of another story. What story? Everyone was puzzled. Huamin said with a smile, a joke-telling competition was held in the forest. Every little animal took turns to tell a joke. If one of them didn't laugh, they had to throw the joke-telling animal into the river as punishment. The first one to go on stage was Little Monkey. Little Monkey told a joke and everyone laughed except for Little Pig. Helpless, he could only throw the little monkey into the river. The second person to tell a joke was the giraffe. Everyone laughed, but Piglet didn't laugh. Helpless, everyone threw the giraffe into the river as well. The third person to go on stage was Xiaonyo. Xiaonyo told a joke that was so cold. No one laughed, only Piglet laughed. It was very magical. Xiaoma asked Piglet, Xiaonyo's joke is not funny, why did you laugh? Can you guys guess what Little Pig said? Jiang Shaowei said, Little Pig definitely said that I thought it was funny. Huamin shook his head. Maybe Little Pig and Little Cow are good friends? Wei Liao guessed. Huamin continued to shake his head. What's going on? Why did Little Pig laugh? Tell us. Gao Ran asked curiously. Chapter 1261. Huamin replied in all seriousness. Piggy said that the monkey's joke was really funny. Everyone was speechless. Piggy was slow to react, so he only reacted to the first joke when Huamian told the third one. The monkey and the giraffe were wronged, even more wronged than Zhu Lingling immediately reacted. She jumped up and immediately grabbed Huamin by the back of his neck. "You little brat, how dare you mock me and call me Piggy? Do you think I can't tell? I'm going to strangle you to death. Ha, help. This crazy woman is strangling me." Huamin shrieked as he shrunk his neck back. The two of them didn't care about their image at all and fooled around as if no one else was around. It was as if they had returned to their school days. Huamin hadn't fooled around with Zhu Lingling in a long time. Qin Chu and Gao Ran watched as the two of them traveled back in time. It was as if they had traveled back in time to 7 years ago, and their moods subconsciously improved. Jiang Xiaowei gently stroked her belly as she watched the joyous scene unfold before her. The gathering of the 6 couples was exceptionally heartwarming and happy. The meal lasted until 11 p.m., and everyone was still hungry for more. Jiang Xiaowei originally suggested going to Seductive Fox, but everyone thought that she was pregnant, so they didn't want to go. Zhu Lingling was extremely generous and didn't take the 5,000 yuan for herself. Instead, she paid the bill. Then, the 3 couples went home. Zhu Lingling got into Gao Ran's Jaguar. They had been living together not long ago. Gao Ran's new apartment was newly renovated, so the smell was a little strong. Therefore, the two of them temporarily stayed at Zhu Lingling's rented mansion. After they got into the car, Gao Ran helped Zhu Lingling put on her seatbelt. When Gao Ran leaned over to help her put on her seatbelt, Zhu Lingling suddenly hugged him gently. Her gentle action surprised Gao Ran slightly. "Lingling, what's wrong?" "Gao Ran, thank you for loving me." Gao Ran didn't think that this girl would suddenly become so serious, so he really didn't know what to say. Then, Zhu Lingling continued, "Actually, I don't have much confidence in myself. I'm not as smart as Huamin, I'm not as mature as Jiang Xiaowei, and I don't have the ability to read people's minds. Compared to them, I'm the most ordinary of us. I'm just a silly girl who likes to laugh and laugh. I thought, a person like me was destined to never be happy. I didn't expect you to give me what I wanted. Sometimes I feel like it's unreal. You're the son of a high-ranking official and you're so outstanding, while I'm just the daughter of an ordinary person. I'm silly, have a bad temper, and have a sharp tongue, but you're still willing to love me. So, I really have to thank you, my most handsome policeman." Zhu Lingling wrapped her arms around Gao Ran's neck and softly confessed to him. Gao Ran felt like his heart was about to melt. He really wasn't used to the woman who was usually so aggressive suddenly becoming so gentle. "Lingling, why are you acting so strange? Are you going to break up with me?" Gao Ran felt like this was a sign of breaking up. Usually, when two people were about to break up, the woman would say things like, "You're really great, but we're not suitable for each other. Break up my ass. If you dare to break up with me, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth." Zhu Lingling revealed her true colors. Gao Ran looked at her and saw that she was still the original Zhu Lingling. Only then did he relax. "You scared me, I thought you were possessed by a ghost." Gao Ran laughed. "Possessed your ass, do you even understand what I'm saying?" Zhu Lingling looked up and pouted as she asked unhappily. "Then what are you talking about?" Gao Ran deliberately played dumb. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.